roads aren't the same like they were when you were the one driving my car, and now I just count the waves of our yesterdays as I go on the 101 highway, and it's taking me back to the start. We lost everything. We lost everything, but you'll always stay close to my heart. We lost everything. We lost everything, but you'll always stay close to my heart. Spinning me around. When you pushed, you pulled me closer so I wouldn't fall down. And now I just count the waves of your warm embrace when you made it a little bit lighter when I was tumbling into the dark. But you'll always stay close to my heart. We lost everything, but you'll always stay close to my heart. Oh, you'll always stay close to my heart. Oh, you'll always stay close to my again, floating through the silence in my cold skin. My body is wearing thin. My fears tell me I'll never win. My body is wearing thin. And there's darkness here. The whole world I feel. In my room I seem to drown. But I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down, down, down. again, floating through the silence in my cold skin. My body is wearing thin, and there's darkness here. The whole world I fear, and my own lost seem to drown. But I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down, down, down. I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me into the night, the city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on. Open your eyes and see the people chanting, slowly falling apart. The silence causing an earthquake. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling higher, and I know I can be taller. Shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. is something going on here. It fills me up, brings me to tears. I've been waiting on this for years, so just tell me, can we talk about it? I know you are one.
Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of NUEL League of Legends Summer Championship. My name is Travis D. Powers, and today I'm here joined by everybody's favorite senpai, Stuart Sin McLeod. How are you doing today, Sin?
Good to be here. I'm doing good, thank you. Excited to get into our matchups, as I'm really just excited to be back to the NUEL. It's been so long since the last. It feels so long since NUEL Live when we last did these casts, and of course I missed last week, so I'm just excited to see some new University League action. And today it's going to be University of Strathclyde going up against University of Birmingham.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm basically a noob here. This is my first time actually on this stream here, so I do have to ask. I know I can hear the tear going down your face as you're strolling through memory lane right here, Sin. So I gotta kind of ask, what are you looking forward to for today?
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is seeing this these teams come back in and try and really show up, because there's a lot more of a space now. We've seen one of the top most dominant teams from the past few years, Aston, having their mid laner graduate, having their ADC graduate, and of course now having their jungler, I believe, leave the uni as well. Means most of their star roster is gone. They have to look for an entirely new roster over there at Aston. I mean, they aren't going to be playing this summer. And on the other side, Warwick, the reigning champions, their roster completely disintegrated as well, leaving Kerberos playing with several plat players rather than the full diamond roster they had last season. So it does give space for these teams like Drulio and the gang and US Fire to come in and try and take these top spots away, as they both currently sit undefeated.
And you have to wonder, they are looking to set the bracket straight on fire, as they are going to be looking to basically put themselves through. This is Swiss style. So they do have, 4 weeks of play, and then they go into their finals and whatnot. So every game counts. They want to continue that undefeated streak as long as possible, and if they can make it through the whole entire thing undefeated, you got to imagine they will be very happy with that result.
Indeed, I can imagine that would be the case, as we're nearing getting into the game. And I just want to run down quickly. This is going to be US Fire going up against UOB Bantstorm Academy. And be excited to see how these two teams do fare against each other, as we do really near this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, pick and ban phase will be starting here in a very quick moment. I'm actually really excited to see this, just because of the fact I've seen some of the different picks that these people like to play, and I'm really excited to just see some EU quality gameplay, as we are in pick and ban now, so we are going to have to see. First ban's going to be the Caitlyn.
Just give me 1 second. I'll sort out the overlay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn got banned away, so nothing too crazy there, as Nunu gets banned away as well. Not going to have any of that crazy utility. No munchies for Yuan.
And there we go. That is us. We can see the Nunu and the Caitlyn. Yeah, these two are sort of hyper carry related, really strong sort of late game champions. You see the Nunu has that early game strength, but can really buff up an AD carry very strong into the late game. And Caitlyn, one of these still very viable hyper carry ADCs. As we head further and further into the game, she still retains that strength, and she still retains what she was known for in the early game. I want to talk quickly about these two bans. Banned away here by UOB, with the Jhin ban very much targeting Arup, one of his strongest champions. And Nunu, we're expecting targeted bans like that towards Ewan, as he is known as a very strong tank jungle player. Don't want to mention it too much, but that pocket pick Skarner, still a possibility.
Yeah, it's still there. We do see the Cho'Gath and Zat being banned out by Fire. They don't want to deal with the gank pressure that Zat can bring, and the Cho'Gath that honestly is, as I was talking about, a little bit of munchies going on there. Is don't want to have anybody who's going to be chomping down on anybody. But LeBlanc banned away. This is going to lead into first pick here, Sin. So what do you think we're going to see here?
I think that we can really expect a likely a pick composition, so we can see Thresh come out, and we could go for Though there's plenty of things you could go for, obviously things like the Elise, but instead going to opt towards what we've seen more often recently, the tank meta coming through. And really we're seeing that potentially on both sides with these early first picks.
And Maokai is still up. He's definitely going to be looking to throw out those saplings, and that is a position that can actually flex between two different roles. So really good on them to go ahead and pick that up.
So the Season 3 legacy. The Season 3 legacy of the Maokai jungle. Remember the odd one playing this a whole bunch back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Repping the general here, maybe, is going to be Daddy Hood. But really, we're seeing that Thresh that we alluded to slightly earlier. Thresh is still this really high priority pick, and even though he was hit by a very strange nerf that they counted as a bug fix, with the small stun being completely omitted after his E, he is still seen as this top tier support, and I believe he will be for the next few patches. Maybe as people start to realize how deeply this could have affected him, we'll see him fall off a little bit, but right now, people still favoring him very heavily for that potential pick you can create with the hook.
And right now, you were talking about tank meta. It looks like tank meta's coming out in full force from Fire here, as they already locked themselves in a Galio, and they said, you know what, let's go ahead and get that Sejuani as well. So that leaves them up for their third pick. This will be their final pick before the second rotation as well. So you got to wonder what their pick up here.
Oh god, this is full tank meta and anti-tank meta at the same time. As the Trundle coming through in the top lane, trying to numb away on some tanks. They got the Ewan repping the tank meta with a Sejuani jungle. And Galio, we can assume now that that's going to be going mid lane. Unless we see something really cheeky and it's like a Trundle jungle, Sejuani support, and Galio top. But this is a very odd setup that we're seeing already. Just such a high priority on tanks. And that just tells you how the meta really is. And maybe picking that Trundle a bit too early, as now we see a nice pick locked in response here.
And we do actually have to account for the flexibility as well, because this, as you just stated, this Galio kind of rotates all around. Sejuani can rotate around. Trundle can rotate around, but the Gnar, he said Gnar will go good into any one of those matchups that they so choose. Interesting thing here, they still ban away the Syndra here, so they may think that this may be the support Sejuani or Trundle.
Yeah, so they'd be assuming definitely that one of these would be going to the support role if that is the case. So it's very odd to see a mid lane ban come out right now. But quickly to go back to that Gnar pick for a very short moment. It's not something we were particularly expecting in terms of the fact that the Trundle was locked in and they go, okay, we're going into the Maokai. That's definitely what we're going to be going into. Maybe not expecting this Gnar to come out. And Gnar can become that big split push threat when he is playing against the likes of the Trundle, when he is playing against somebody he can harass out early. And he turns into this kind of side lane threat without really being this big tower taking threat. He just wants to chip away at the health bars, force somebody to base, and then take advantage of the map pressure then.
Yeah, and that could lead into a interesting situation as well, because playing around a super push can always be a little tricky. AD carry pinch being put out by Fire on that second ban phase, as we also saw the Lucian come out from the side of UOB. So the AD carry pool very small right now, and we haven't seen one for Europe at this moment in time. So very curious to see what he will actually end up picking up as.
Ooh. So I do want to mention that we did see Uzi play this in China earlier on. They played 4 tanks and Vayne against Team WE, the top team in China, and they did manage to pick up a 2-0 against them. So this is a very interesting pick with the percentage health true damage, still a very viable pick, as we've seen from the tank meta so far. But I'm expecting something maybe along the lines of a Twitch, a crit-based ADC, and that could be another one. Just somebody who's going to be able to become a sort of late game carry and chip away at the health bars with the crit. And you can see how much they've denied the hyper carries to try and counter these tanks by banning away Caitlyn, Jinx, and Tristana, all known as crit-based AD carries. And that, however, is not what was expected, and we have to consider perhaps this could be a proxy pick. But if not, this could be Trundle support.
Yeah, this is actually very interesting. Saw the quick mid lane ban in the ban phase 2, but instead it's an Alawi that's coming out, and they just lock in Ori here. They actually do not. They end up switching last second over to TF. So comps are now set in here. We're going to see the picks rotate around, and the comps will be discovered to us because we have no idea what some of these teams are planning. Some of these picks could flex all over the place as that Trundle support looks to be confirmed.
It looks to be that Maokai jungle that we have seen quite a fair amount of recently. He is able to take Raptors quicker than anybody with if you layer the saplings properly into the brush. So if you put one sapling in the brush, get it blowing up on the Raptors, then wait until the full DPS on the damage over time has completed, then get the second sapling to blow up onto the Raptors. You'll see it chip down to very minimal HP to the point where you can auto-attack them one each, or even just the burn from the Hunter's Talisman will kill them off. So it just enables you to kill them that much quicker than most other junglers right now by running maybe a couple of AP runes at the start.
Yeah, and even with you talking about this, actually, it brings up a very solid point too of the sides that they are on and the potential of a super leash from the blue side. So blue side could go for that super leash that has been going around. It's something that you can only accomplish on blue side. Them having Maokai, as you just alluded to, that makes it so where they can kind of have a little bit of a counter push, it seems.
Being able to finish the Raptors that quickly on their side, of course, as you say, does definitely help them. If you look towards the other side of the map, as you said, the super leash can come into effect where you've got the Winds of War coming out from the Galio, followed up by perhaps the Varus and Trundle leashing the red buff. It can be done very, very quickly, and it's going to put Sejuani in a nice place. Of course, she does start with the Flail, trying to do as much AoE DPS herself. And both being tank junglers, they're not really looking to finish their camps very quickly and make a threat to the opposing jungle. It's more to the fact that they can level 3 gank and try and maybe burn a summoner early. Other than that, we'll just be expecting them to power farm until those level 6 marks where we know they can have so much of a threat, where they know they can be these big tanky engagers. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they engage off the back of this Maokai ultimate. If they can get TF following up on it, potentially Thresh coming in. We might even see a Talisman of Ascension from him to help them get onto there. And we're definitely going to see a Righteous Glory come out from almost certainly the Maokai in this game.
And if you're talking about UOB, they have quite a phenomenal comp that can actually do some crazy things as well. But Fire, they have this, as you may know, fire that's going to be burning underneath them because right now
it's lit,
they
fam.
Don't have a huge DPS in the mid lane. Galio does do some good damage in himself. What do you think that the Sejuani is going to look to apply pressure to in this game? Because looking at it, she has the CC she can grant, and it's just curious for me to see what lane she'll choose to get ahead.
And to be honest, I don't think that's really going to be the case until at least the level 6 mark for the Sejuani. As she really is just going to be looking to just get to that level 6 and start to win team fights, start to snowball ahead. She's only really going to be really effective as a counter ganker to try and shut down Maokai, who of course has the root available at level 3, has a lot more CC available than the Sejuani at level 3. The Sejuani CC much more conditional now. They've changed the way her E works to be that stun after you land a few auto attacks. So she's going to have to be aware of where Daddyhood is, but at the same time just try and get to that level 6 mark where we know she can be most relevant, where we know that we can have a full CC combo comp with Galio coming in on top of, say, an Alawi, who's just jumped on top of a target who's been hit by the Glacial Prison, and then they can be rooted up by the Chains of Corruption as well. There's definitely a lot of potential for a burst combo coming through from them. But overall, there's going to be a lot of safety for a Roop. Look at these 4 tanks around him. Or I should say, three tanks and a bruiser, as Laui will be. Just going to give him so much space to be able to DPS, as no one can really get on top of him unless TF finds a godlike ultimate, or Thresh somehow manages to weave through the Needle's Eye a hook.
Yeah, I actually like the point that you brought up here about talked a little bit about Alawi there. The heroic entrance together with Alawi just sounds like it could be very devastating as well if they get it into the right area. So you got to imagine at some points in time if this team is able to get ahead, especially towards their top side with this Alawi pick, which can definitely win lane pretty hard, especially with that Storm Raider surge that we will probably see on her. It could be a very devastating combo to actually see come out, because the DPS that comes out of Alawi taking that leap of faith can be actually just insane.
Definitely can, as you say. And looking at the lineup here, we see the Maokai going for the most effective skin, the Maokai. I mean, if you're not playing Maokai, why the hell are you playing Maokai? You know?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with somebody. Why play Victorious Maokai when you can just play the Maokai? It's legitimately like one of the best skins.
It's so much more BM to kill people with cats.
It really is. You make them into your litter bots. That's what.
Well, looking to get into this game. It's going to be an early start, but we're just going to wait those few seconds for the delay. It's going to be UOS Fire going up against UOB Bantstorm Academy.
Going to be quite the hype game here from US Fire. Definitely wanting to keep their streak alive. We do have a quick pause going on here as soon as we get into lobby, so hopefully that will get all sorted out. It gives us more time to talk about League of Legends before League of Legends starts happening. What do you, honestly, your thoughts though on this Vayne pick? Because we talked a bit about how she shreds through the true damage. With the true damage, she's going to be able to mulch through some of these tanks and whatnot, but she is a very close range target. Is that something that they have to be worried about from the side of UOB Buntstorm Academy?
Well, we could look towards the laning phase, where normally she is punished hard by something with long range like a Caitlyn, and we could have expected that if Varus was paired with something that was a little bit more harassing, but because it is Varus and Trundle, it's going to be a lot harder for them to punish the Vaynes. Thresh has the effectively ranged auto attack, as it's fairly short range, but it's still a ranged auto attack. Can keep Patsy at bay, can flay him away, and he really just has to focus on potentially getting the likes of the Targon's shield and just trying to keep himself healthy in that bot lane, because he's really going to struggle to find much pressure early on. They have to rely on getting into those later stages where he'll be able to ult the Maokai, ult the Gnar, and stop them from having any effective tank stats whatsoever.
And we are finally getting into game. So we have UOS on the Fire on the blue side, and we have UOB Buntstorm Academy on the red side. Let us know who you guys are going to think is going to be able to take this in the Twitch chat. I'd love to see the opinions on who's got this game, which side are the fans pulling for here, as we are seeing a 5-man stack against a line of scrimmage. Be very interesting.
Trying to stop any cheeky invades coming through, and maybe spot somebody trying to put a ward in that pixel brush, but really it's gonna start them moving forward now, perhaps looking for an early ward on the Raptors. We talked about that super leash being the potential, and getting there this early can maybe deny a lot of that potential pressure. This just puts a sapling down to scout it out, and he's actually going to be starting on the blue side by the looks of it. Not what we normally see from a Maokai, but with that ward on the Raptors, they're going to know exactly where he is.
And that actually brings up a curious thing. We talked about Daddy Hood wanting to possibly put those saplings and get that huge catch up in the jungle there. Looks like that is not going to be the option, as just a regular blue buff start. Nothing too fancy here. It doesn't even look like we're getting a super leash from the blue side either.
Oh, wait. I think I know what Gnar's planning on doing here. Am I wrong? Nah, he's not going to do it. But this is going to be the blue buff start from Daddy Hood, layering those saplings effectively to get the maximum DPS. And maybe not wanting to take those Raptors at level 1 because he was scared Terrakio would move forward and try and deny that level 2, which can be very risky. So just wanting to play it safer instead, and I can definitely respect why that would be the case, as he does manage to get himself level 2 happily, and then can go for his Raptors when they are uncontestable.
Yeah, and that's a big thing to actually talk about. Now, looking at lanes and the different items that we're actually seeing, because Vega did end up going for that Doran's Blade, while we do see the Doran Shield actually coming out from Alawi. Does this kind of speak volumes on how Alawi is going to want to play this lane? Or does that mean that just Alawi is just like, you know what, the early game, I forfeit it for a little bit, let me regen off of some of these trades, and then I'll go in?
I think the latter of the two would definitely be seeming to be more of the case for Alawi, as she is a very short-range champion early on. She can only use the Q for poke. Of course, with Gnar being ranged, he can clear those tentacles out much more effectively as well. It's going to be hard for her to find anything until she starts to get these tank stats and starts to be a lot more bruisery, where she can pump out the DPS and still take a hit, like we know Alawi can. As you see, I'm going to actually try and work out what number this is, but Terrakio and Daddyhood in the mid lane.
Yeah, we got Daddyhood. He actually twisted advances in. There's actually some cards. A wild card's going to come out. That's going to force a flash. Toriako.
While I was trying to work out the number that the mid laner's name in, it seemed like Daddyhood had Terrakio's number for a second. Does force the flash in the bot lane.
And it's actually down bot. There is going to be some action going on. That's going to be first blood. We are going to be able to see that come out. That's good, but it's supports trading for supports, claiming lives down here, as that is something that's going into the favor over to UOB.
Nice, effectively going in the gold lead of UOB, but this is going to be Celestia Vega having to jump away, going very low, and doesn't have to burn the flashes, just going to hop away. Rather happy with that, but it shows you the damage that Alawi can do if she lands that tentacle on the E, is able to get the Test of Spirit onto you. And really, that's got to be what Celestia Vega's looking out for here. It has to TP back to lane because of that pressure. Now Alawi can hold on to that, and around the level 6 mark, potentially make a play.
And look at this, the aggression that's being put out here by Added Noom here, as he is just laying it out. But we do have a taunt that's actually coming into the mid lane. Is Toriaku going to be able to avenge himself? He's going to get the flash blown, but he isn't going to be able to get much else, as that is going to be just a flash or a little taunt. But Daddyhood's down here in the bot lane.
Yeah, Daddyhood's trying to make up for the pressure that's going on mid lane by showing up bot lane, but unfortunately we see the Gnar having blown his TP already. We see in the mid lane the TF had to flash, and it's not looking good for them. They did pick up that first blood, so they got a couple hundred gold lead, but other than that, the pressure across the map definitely not going in their favor, as we're looking to see them really just scale up until they can be these big late game tanks, as you really don't want to fight against 4 late game tanks, because they just survive so much they become unkillable. Celestia Vega going in.
Yeah, Celestial is actually jumping in right here. He's going to try and lay out the damage that he can, but those slams, those tentacles are doing the damage needed. But oh no, the target's actually in the bot lane. We got some cats that are coming to play. Europe is going to be able to go down here, as a TP is being forced to be canceled. Daddyhood, unspent bot lane, was not for naught.
And it's going to be just a 0 for 0, sorry, a 0 for 1 rather, as the Ewan, Roop is going to fall here. Yeah, he's gone for the Cull. He wants to get that late game scaling going for himself, sitting with 81 stacks left on it, and really vying in for the later gaming. He's going for the Blade of the Rune King, most likely, to start for himself. We see Terrakio just constantly going in aggressive and winning these trades, forcing out the blue card from 2112.
Yeah, we do see the Ghost actually being forced out too here. Yuan looked for something. Gold card is there. Not going to be able to stun anybody up here, as you can even look at the build he has. You can tell he's just trying. He knows this lane is not to his advantage. Oh, but Deja Vu actually moved on to Pillar's actually going to work counter effective to Patsy there, as he's not going to be able to pass through Deja Vu. He's going to lay out the chop of the dark.
Oh!
It's going to be able to save him, get him out into the arms of his lovely support.
You can see, indeed, Aiden turning up and saving his life with that lantern. With crucial timing, as really no one had any flashes available. Heal wasn't available. If he didn't turn up there, certainly Deja Vu was dead. But the pressure exuded now in this bot lane is going to help them out for a little bit. It can give Erup back control, back the CS lead. He has had 2 deaths so far, but still sitting up 20 CS.
Yeah, right now it is big for them, because now that with this little bit of an advantage they were able to gain in terms of kills, they're still losing out in CS, as you said. Toriaki, though, actually laying out so much damage on that Gallia mid.
It's a surprising amount of damage, as we see he's only got the Corrupting Potion and the Dark Seal. Very minimal amount of items. And on the opposing side, just to get a little bit more movement speed, the TF has gone for the cooldown reduction boots. Try and get that Ghost and Flash on as low cooldown as possible. And of course, get that extra movement speed by completing the boots early on. It's really interesting that he's favoured that over going for something like maybe the Sheen that we see a lot, or even something like the potential Lost Chapter. But really really trying to make worth of this CDR, get off as many blue cards as possible, and try and keep the lane pushed.
And keeping the lane pushed, definitely name of the story for them in this lane. Just trying to make sure that he stays caught up in CS. He'll have some utility to bring to the team later on, but there actually is a death sentence that's actually going to connect. There's a bad dart passage that's going to bring him in. Patsy is the target here. He is going to be rooted up. Deja Vu is going to be able to pick up the kill. Roop is looking to try and pick something off on the backside here. We do see the Glacial Prison is going to come, but it's not in short enough time. Shivel is here. He's looking to get something to go on his way. We do see the Leap of Faith is going to come out. That's going to be a Noom is going to be taken out as a double kill going over the Shivel. Wait, the cat actually takes out in the backside here. Daddy had able to pick himself up a kill in return there, but it's going to be a huge fight for UOS Fire.
So we see there that Ishvel went back to base, picked up himself the serrated dirt, comes back to the fight, and shows up big with the lethality. 2-0-1, making up for all that pressure that Celestia Vega was able to put on from the champion matchup. And now he's going to be able to go back that top lane with a lot of offensive damage, ready to come out and punish Celestia Vega if it even oversteps slightly. He may lose this tower in the meantime, but still those 2 kills and not almost evening up the gold for themselves. Happy times there from UOS as they turn around what's really been negative in this bot lane. Although Arup does fall once more, sitting at 0-3-3.
He's not having a fun time there, but he does have the CS to kind of help him out there. But we do have something that could happen up here in the top side. Vega is actually going to be locked up here. The stun is going to come out. No Gnar stun is going to be able to save him at this point in time, as we do see Shivel's actually laying down the damage. The tornadoes are coming out, and we do see that he is going to be taking that slow at this point in time, but just far enough away from that slam. Welcome to the jam. Not going to be able to find anything else out of it, as Toriaki is going to try and go for the kill on Celestial. He is going to get it with that colossal slam from his fist, and he's going to be able to take him out, trading 1 for 1 out of what could have been a 0 for 1.
And the mid laner rotates top, but they force the flash from Celestia Vega. They force the ult from the TF, and now they can actually try and make a play bot lane with this TF cooldown down. Of course, this isn't TF with the teleport as it used to be. This is TF with the ghost.
Sorry to cut you off here, but we do have a Glacial Prison that's going to come out. Shivel's going to be able to pick himself another kill in that top lane, just being able to catch out MMY as he is taken out there. I actually, what is that number actually? I believe you said
2112.
2212.
Yeah, 2112. 2112.
And the Roman numerals making me think, man. I'm an NA caster. I don't think, man. That's just
That's why I brought you here, obviously.
I don't do numbers, man. It's not our forte. But
the numbers, what do they mean?
Exactly. Breaking back into this game, I do kind of want to say first brick is going to go down. Shivel actually is going to be going after Vega again here. This is unrelenting as the slam is going to come out and be able to finish out Vega. As CS advantage to him, but kill pressure is his.
Welcomes Vega to the jam indeed, and that's going to be Vega falling there. You see, he had just picked up the Bramble Vest, the renowned item spike for top laners, where they are able to, quote, 1v2 anybody, but does end up falling down to the 4-0-2 from Ishvel, sitting so far ahead right now. He doesn't care about the Bramble Vest. He doesn't care about these Ninja Tabi. He's going to be plowing through this Nars health bar. And look at all that armor pen he's going to have pretty soon.
Oh, it's pretty scary, to be honest. But looking at how things are playing out across the map, looking at how Vision's going, Dragon is still up. With all this bot lane action, may have thought we would see one, but it is just the Cloud Drake. Not many people tend to put priority on that themselves. But looking in terms of builds are actually starting to finally come into fruition, as you were talking about, as all laners are starting to get all their final components for these items.
So I want to quickly look towards the mid lane. If we have time, if hopefully nobody starts a massive fight right now, but Terrakio has been playing this Galio very well. He's been pushing the wave in early, and making plays better than a TF can. And that kind of says everything about the way he's playing the champion. If a champion is able to outpush an opposing mid and be a better playmaker across the map than a Twisted Fate, is it a balanced champion? And he's keeping up in CS in spite of the TF staying in the mid lane. It's just all credit to Terrakio, now sitting 2-1 and 2, as Ewan may be looking for something in this bottom lane.
And they could be. You do have to be careful, as Daddy is home at this point in time. He's down there in the bot lane as well. So it could be a very spooked situation. It looks like they're both just going to disengage. Yaku really wants to jump on to the man of numbers here in the mid lane.
2-1-1-2.
Oh man, I can't. Those are so many numbers.
2,112. It's there's I believe there's a player in the LPL who has a brilliant name. It's just 957.
Yeah, I think I do know 957. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few players with interesting words, but I've never seen Roman numerals before. It's a rather interesting one.
I'm gonna call him Eminem. It's easier for my brain to comprehend as we do.
Oh,
see
nice play.
We do see. We are gonna see Eminem coming in here. He's actually in the backside laying out those cards, but in the side here, Leap of Faith is going to come. It's only going to hit one, but Palio's going to be taken out off on the side, and Shivel is not able to. He's been distracted. He's been death sentenced. He's trying to jump
Here
on
comes
the
Sejuani.
Eminem's out in the side here. Yuan is going to be able to pick up the kill there, as they are going to trade that 2 for 2 from both sides.
We saw the heavy playmaking style of the side of UOB come through. There's a really nice hook and flay come out, instantly followed up by Daddyhood, instantly followed up by the ult from the TF, and it's just going to be in the Arup not having the most fun of times right now. Again, he's still staying up on CS, but this kill the AD carry composition against the 4 tanks is still working out, and it does mitigate some of that late game damage as they're relying on him so heavily to be a large component of the late game damage. As right now, it's going to be all Alawi in the Alawi show, 4-0-4. And sitting in a dominant position with the Black Cleaver completed. It's still going to be a rough lane for Nar. Although Nar did pick up the first tower gold, that's just standing gold on the map, waiting to go into the pocket of the Alawi fairly soon.
Alawi always loving to get that gold in her pocket. She's definitely pretty far ahead at this point in time, as Shivel is doing a good job on his own with that Black Cleaver, as you were talking about. He does have that lethality inside of his build as well, so beware, because whoever he jumps onto, those tentacles are going to give you the definition of pain in the very near future if the Nets play happens. No TP for him though, so he'll have to walk if he wants to have any sort of crazy action.
So have a look at the past couple minutes here. Yeah, have a look at the past couple minutes here. We've seen a lane swap come out. So the bot laners are both going up against the opposing mid laners, and the top laners are fighting in the mid lane. It's not something we see that often, but I mean, it's pretty much sending your most damaging members to the mid laner right now, as it's the Gnar versus the Alawi. And it is just going to be a wave clear battle, but we know who wins that one, and now Le Pen, Celestia Vega can get caught out. So that's really interesting, the club name coming up on the Ghost.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing for Alawi, actually. Alawi actually has that as a thing, so if you actually...
So does she actually have that, actually?
Yeah, that's how it works. It's so interesting. Trust me, I felt the pain of it, man. I had to play against an Alawi the other day, so trust me on this. I know my club name by heart at this point in time. So,
I just changed my club name recently, repping the Paw Patrol.
Oh yeah, gotta rep those paws, especially with that Meowkai in this game, you know? You gotta make sure you rep those, as nothing really too crazy happening. Actually, as I say that, the Chains of Corruption is going to happen, and Aiden Noom is going to get absolutely deleted off of the map.
And can they pull it off again? And the Gnar now, as he TPs into 3 people, is just going to push the wave out for now. But it does leave an open passage for TF and Maokai to push mid lane if they so choose. But no, TF going to push the mid wave and then come up to help Celestia Vega in this top lane. And try and hold the 3 men at bay as Arup takes another big chunk of damage from these tower shots.
Yeah, here comes the stun, actually. They're going to try and Gnar Juan back into the tower range. Thunderlords is going to proc here, but with a ghost being popped there, he's still on the pillar. He's going to be too slow to be able to jump into any more action, as the pillar is showing its usefulness against this comp.
Yeah, Ewan really only giving up his flash there, but we saw the Ghost from TF used, we saw the Mega Gnar, the Gnar also used, but it's going to pressure them off enough for now to take advantage of this positioning on Rift Herald. We see there's a lot of vision for the side of UOS Fire in this top side jungle, but really they couldn't take enough of an advantage of it, as they just pushed a little bit too hard, didn't hold themselves into enough patience long enough, and it's going to be a free Rift Herald going over. And potentially they can use that one in this mid lane tower or even the bot lane tower to aid the Vayne in her pushing, as she seems to be happy to 1v1 anybody at this point in the game.
Yeah, more than happy to take care of that, as Toriako is here. He are trying to make some sort of action happen here, but looks like they're not. Rift Herald has been summoned though. That's
going to be in the mid lane as they see multiple members show up in the bot lane. They're going to try and punish it, but Deja Vu going to have to fight with Ishvel. Oh!
One Deja Vu is going to absolutely take him off of the map. I don't even remember Deja Vu being there at that point in time, but we do have the flash taunt that's going to come up and follow up as well. The tornadoes are going to come out. Eminem is going down, as we are going to say that the that is a huge counterplay to come out there. They don't grab the bot turret, but now they rotate into the mid lane, and this could be very huge.
So I have one question for you here. Where'd Vayne go?
I think she's back in the fountain, man. That's where
Oh, she just went back. She just went to the shops. She'll be home soon.
Yeah, she just went to go pick up some milk. Don't worry.
You said that 20 years ago.
Yeah. She's coming back. You know, she'll be back eventually. But this is going to be the first dragon of the game. It took a while for it to get going, but advantage grabbed by UOS gonna translate over to that Cloud Drake.
And we can see what the AD carries are starting to go for now, as the Blade of the Rune King almost directly into the Infinity Edge on the side of Deja Vu. But on the other side of that, we're going to see more, perhaps, that Energizer build coming out from the Varus. And it kind of tells you that, in fact, he's going to go for the Runaan's Hurricane, sticking to that on-hit damage. Of course, his W provides the percentage health damage when you pop those marks. And does have a flat magic damage shred, so very strong against tanks. And it's a really underrated ability, is the W from Varus. It just provides so much more bonus damage than people expect. You can come out of the game and look at your magic damage stats from a game, and it'll be at least like 30% of your magic, unless you're playing full poke Varus.
And that's not something we see anymore. No lethality Varus it hasn't been a thing for a little bit, as we are looking into how this game is going. UOS does have themselves a nice little lead in terms of kills, but the gold difference doesn't tell that. It tells a dead even story, as that is actually very interesting for me. So if you like to, this is something that's very big, because even though they're getting these kills across map, they're just barely keeping themselves even with the side of UOB.
Yeah, UOB seem to be able to get these kills in response, because it takes so long at this point in the game to actually kill people, unless it is specifically Ishvel able to blow up somebody instantly.
Oh, Chain of Corruptions. The pick is going to happen. Eminem's going to have to flash over the wall. Barely able to escape the grass there. Great flash, but now mid lane is open to UOS, as they can translate around into the jungle.
A 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 2. Pops his ghost, says goodbye to you, runs away through the jungle. Yeah. Now Daddy Hood gets out with the lantern as well.
That's pretty big, honestly, just because that could have set up some sort of pressure.
But it zones them off of this tower now. It zones them away from this tower. It gets them the free pink ward, and now this is going to even up the towers this game. This is going to put them at a gold lead nearing 1k for the first time so far this game. So just by pressuring out the TF and rotating their pressure through the jungle to keep members at bay, they managed to hold themselves in a nice position here. Celestia Vega a little bit out of position, is going to pop that hop.
Ooh, Patsy is actually
the
going to
TP.
be jumped onto. He's
Here
going
comes
to be
Ishvel.
The TP is coming in, but he's going to be rooted immediately. Shivel not actually able to get anything out. He's just going to keep getting hooked around. The leap of faith is going to come out, laying out the damage as much as possible, but he's going to get shut down as we are going to see the action still going on. Vegas in the backside causing as much chaos, barely able to survive, and the next target to go down is Taraku. He is going to be focused down as now UOS Fire are getting sent home packing as they lose that fight 2-0.
Between the Maokai, the Na, and the Thresh, they managed to find enough peel to keep Deja Vu on full HP throughout that fight. That's going to be... He is able to pump out that true damage and chunk through all the members. And we saw the moment that Ishval actually appeared into the game, he was instantly stunned up by, I believe, a Thresh Flay, then flashed over the wall, instantly then caught up by the root from Maokai. So his DPS was mitigated for so long, to the point where Ishval didn't really have much of an impact that fight. But now maybe the turnaround.
Yeah, they're looking for the turnaround here. Daddyhood is the target here. Death Sentence is coming over to Patsy. We do see the TP as Deja Vu is laying out the damage, and it looks like it's just going to be a disengage.
Yeah, just able to get away once again, using the peel effectively, and you can actually use the Thresh hook very easily to peel. You land it instantly back away, and of course that extra little stun is enough to dissuade any engage from the rest of the team, as they don't want to go in without their key member. And just a cheeky stop at the back there from Arup, gonna buy them a bit more time to maybe head towards this top lane, set up a push, and now it actually looks like they're rushing Baron. This is the cheeky 20-minute.
Yeah, this is the cheeky Baron for sure. They do have the tools to spot this out, though. They know they're there. Very big indeed.
Oh, but 2-1-1-2, it's been chunked out very low.
Yeah, he's shut down pretty hard. This Baron still has not been contested yet. They're waiting for a smite still.
Daddyhood can't get that.
It's going to get triple. It's going to be a triple stun there, but the damage being laid out, a leap of faith. Daddyhood is going to be the next target, as now they are going to go ahead and turn their eyes onto the side of UOB. They're trying to get away. UOB is in a situation where now the Galio is here. He's looking for the taunt. He gets the flash taunt. The tornadoes are going to come out. Arup is now in the backside. He's laying out the damage that is needed. Heroic entrance is coming out, and they are going to force the flash from Deja Vu, as that leaves Deja Vu all on his own to try and defend this mid tower.
So they couldn't find the follow-up fight in bot lane. They force towards the Baron, and now Deja Vu's going to go down as well. But I love what happened once they got to the Baron pit. They were able to constantly land those tests of spirit over the wall, chunk members low, so the ensuing team fight would be that much more devastating. And all the members go down. That was an ace in the end. Daddyhood wasn't even there in time to be able to even try for the steal. That's going to give them a free inhib and a huge swing of gold, as they were around at 1.5k down, all the way to roughly 3k ahead. And UOS Fire showing up big when they need to, and the strength of their composition really shining, as they're able to force a team fight, force them to be engaged on, and that's exactly where they want to be, as they can blow up members instantly.
Yeah, the Baron play already coming to fruition to be a good one, as they were also able to pick up that tower off the top side with those the young winions, as some people would like to call them, being able to push down that tower from the damage that had already been laid out here, as we are going to see, I'm assuming, probably a dragon play at this point in time from just the way they are rotating, but UOS being able to pick up yet a second dragon is a notion.
Now having the two dragons, not really the most effective dragons, although they get a little bit more movement speed from this cloud dragon. The ocean dragon going to give them that little bit more mana and health sustain, but as you get to this point in the game, it's not as relevant. It's really best if you get an ocean drake very early in the game, and unless you've got one to get the second one around the 20-minute mark, it's kind of already lost most of its impact. See a hook land onto Ewan, but the Righteous Glory pop from Maokai, but he's just going to force them back for potentially another wave. As you're going to see Alawi head towards this top lane and try and use the Baron buff on the other side of the map, creating a 4-1 effectively to try and utilize as much of this Baron as possible.
Right now, as things are going, we do see the push is coming out. The damage is being put back onto him. And Alawi versus Vega, you got to imagine Chevelle up here is just as happy as can be. He's happy to see Vega in this lane because he knows he can just mollywop him up and down this top lane at this point.
I'm sorry, he can what?
Build. Mollywop. You never heard the term mollywop? Come on, man.
No, I've never heard that phrase, and I hope Twitch chat can agree with me.
No,
but
no, Twitch chat will understand my.
The mollywop. It will understand the mollywop. Okay.
Yeah, no, Flash Chain of Corruption is actually going to come out. All right.
Oh, he gets mollywopped on that one.
Yeah, he got mollywopped.
Exactly.
Oh, that leap of faith with the flash. Baby.
Oh, this could be the end of the game right here.
Nasty. We are going to see the taunt is going to come out. Daddy Hood is up in the front line trying to do what he can here. We do see that they're going to just apply the pressure to the Nexus here as you do see UOB is trying to do something. This is going to be the game here. You're going to be able to push this in, and they are going to be able to claim the Nexus.
There's a small team fight that's happening before, but is Galio going to be able to peel for them long enough? It seems to be that way. But Vayne is back up. This is at least fightable for them, but the Nexus is already too low, and that's going to be finally the game going over to UOS Fire.
UOS Fire is going to be able to claim this one. Well fought victory going on from them as they are able to claim that. They were even for a good portion of it, constantly trying to fight back into gold, it seemed like. But now UOS Fire showed that they come on fire when it hits that 25-minute mark and just made a huge Baron play. What a crazy game.
That's a very strong performance from the side of UOS Fire, playing around, not a roop like we expected in the pregame with this late game tank shredding ADC, and instead focusing around Ishvel and Ewan, able to constantly set up these plays, get large amounts of CC and burst the members. And this really shows the way the meta is, with this big bursty front line that you have to go for to destroy the enemy damage dealers. Even if yours die, you just have to focus on killing as many members as possible, dive as hard as you can, and that's the game.
Yeah, Shiva was actually just scary for me to watch that game. He had the Black Cleaver Ghost Blade, and even like when he was in the animation for Leap of Faith, he actually would just flash onto people and just do this crazy things. And there were some times where it looked like he didn't get an effective Leap of Faith, and then they would get deleted off of the map immediately, and it was just absolutely terrifying. There was point in times where Deja Vu just didn't get to play the game at some points because he could not escape the graphs of Chevelle.
We're going to have a quick look at the damage charts here. And this is going to be, wow, 21,000 damage from the Alawi. Next highest was the Varus, and third highest, just behind him, was the Galio. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes next game. As we did say in the game as well, but Nata was the most damage dealing champion on the other side. But looking forward to getting into our second game now. So we could, I'm not sure what 100% which team we are going to be seeing, but we'll get back to you on that shortly. We'll be up on the stream in a very short amount of time, as we're going to go to this break, and we'll see you afterwards for game 2.
It fills me up, brings me to tears. I've been waiting on this for years, so just tell me, can we talk about it? I know you are one for many words, but what I feel is so deep it hurts. I am down to put in the work, so just tell me, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Oh, can we talk about it? Oh, can we talk about it? Baby, I'm ballin', 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 ballin'. Baby, I'm ballin', 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 ballin'. Baby, I'm ballin'. Baby, I'm ballin'. Baby, I'm ballin'.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with week 2 of the NUEL League of Legends Summer Championship. We just saw our first game, which was UOS Fire versus UOB Academy. But we are going to be going on to our second game. But without further ado, my name is Travis D. Powers. And joining me here today is the lovely, as ever, Stuart Sin McLeod.
Thank you. We're going to be going for another game here, and it's going to be the side of Bangladesh going up against Manatee Warwick. Manatee Warwick, as we said, one of those remnants of the Warwick teams that we saw so many of over the years, and they all named themselves quite quirkily after the Warwick skins. This one being named after Manatee, then a team with Kerberos on it, who was actually played against previously by Bangladesh, was the Marauder Warwick with Kerberos in the top lane, who actually flexed, and this is interesting, into the jungle as Jungle Twisted Fate, and then proceeded to carry the game. So, a rather interesting turn of events.
You could say he was definitely a twist in their fate for sure. That's a pretty crazy thing that should play. It's been so long since I've actually seen a jungle TF as an NA. Somebody from NA. That does not give me fond memories, because last time I saw a jungle TF from EU, it was not to our joy.
Thanks, Kickus.
It hurt a little bit. A lot of NA people were very salty. But we do have a crazy game that should be going off here soon, as you were talking about Bangladesh versus Manatee Warwick. Bangladesh being on the blue side, Manatee Warwick being on the red side here. So I'm really excited to actually see how this game goes, just because this is my first little bit of taste of some EU action here, and the last game didn't disappoint. This game, I'm sure, is not going to disappoint.
Now, we're just waiting. We're ready whenever the team is. Gonna get into Champion Select very shortly. I'm gonna be seeing the sides. See if Frumi, of course, one of the managers for Enclave, going up against the other side.
Definitely going to be getting.
Yeah, going up against the other side, which will have, of course, the other team of Warwick, and we're gonna see how Warwick do perform, and if they can live up to their other Warwicks are well known here.
Yeah, the Warwick's definitely well known inside and outside of the League of Legends. As the Nocturne is going to be the first ban that's going to be taken away here. So, big target ban right off the get-go.
A very interesting one at that, and does very much seem like a target ban, and the response ban of the Vladimir very much seeming similar. Important to mention that Frumi is actually subbing in as AD carry. He's not an AD carry by trade.
Yeah, it is pretty big right there that they actually were able to get that, as this Champion Select is going on.
So the Sona ban and the Na ban to follow. And unfortunately, my co-caster here having a couple of technical issues. And I believe this is the case. This is unfortunately been the case with the recent changes to Riot's API. Spectators are it's not fun to spectate, so it does normally mean you have to relog, but if you were to relog at this point, I think you would have to try and spectate off the back of me, and if that's not possible, you have to set up something like a Skype screen share.
Just always as pleasant as can be, as currently it looks like it is not fitting itself for me. So
yeah, try and relog and spectate off the back of me after the 3-minute delay. If that's not possible, we'll have to set up a Skype screen share. And Kale ban and Lulu ban are going to be the last two bans, and then a Rek'Sai first pick. We have seen Rek'Sai tend more towards the AD route recently. There's a lot of true damage can come out of that E, getting the E that much more quickly. But leaving up the Maokai is not going to go unpunished, as that's going to be the next pick. We did talk a little bit last game about the flexibility of the Maokai, and how much it's able to provide in both the jungle and top laner position. And the Morgana comes through as the follow-up to that. So I'm going to talk about the Morgana a little bit. And the Morgana, really Morgana is such a strong pick right now. And it's because nobody really has the magic damage to burst through her shield in this full tank meta. When she's got her full rank shield, when somebody's got a bit of magic resistance, nobody can actually burst it through. Nobody can CC the AD carry. The AD carry stays alive for that much longer. But on the topic of keeping the AD carry alive, on the other side we're going to see the Zillion locked in. And we know the phrase, you can't kill the Zillion, but can you kill his ADC? The ADC is going to be looking to try and stay alive through it.
Yeah, big question definitely going to have to be answered here. From the side here from Bangladesh, it's Spell Shield versus Revive. Normally you like to be revived if you are ended up taken out, but that Spell Shield will keep that initial CC away from you at the very least.
So it's looking to be the Zillion teaming up with the Tristana, and as a bit of a man who's taken a bit of color over time yourself, what do you think of that combo?
It's actually pretty phenomenal, to be completely honest with you, is just because of the fact that it gives you so much siege potential, and it makes it so that when Tristana goes in for that Goomba Stomp, when it gets into those high impact fights, she's able to do that and just melt through a very squishy backline, to be completely frank. But like it, and it's a good combo, honestly, with the speed up that goes along with the Tristana as well.
So I think we're both going to answer this one, but do you think the Zillion should be going to the top, the support or the mid lane role, and why?
Zillion's going to go into the mid lane role for sure. I like the mid lane Zillion a lot more. Okay. You can put it down there in the bot lane if you want, but I just like mid lane Zillion so much more. You get a lot of roam pressure to go together with a jungler and all sorts of different things. You scale better. And you just, honestly, your laning's not bad. Is the worst part about it is your last hitting kind of sucks. But
so I'm going to go into why I think it's, I would disagree with you there. The Zillion, I feel, is going to go to the support role. And here's why I think why. The Zillion is a pick that needs to keep the AD carry alive. And we're seeing so many AD carries die in these early phases, where, for example, level 4, 5, 6, there's TPs down to bot lane, they get full dove and blown up. Zillion can't help if he's a mid lane Zillion. If he's a support Zillion, he's able to keep her alive and try and provide a little bit more. And when they get to that level 6 mark, can provide the bonus EXP to get to that level 6 mark quicker. We'll be able to keep her safer and stop these level 6 all-ins in the bot lane that we see all too often for the Tristana to be comfortable with.
It could be a very spooky situation. So we're going to have to see as that Galio is going to be the next pick of interest. We saw that being to some great fruition in the last game that we saw.
So by that point, I'm assuming you can see this, or are you watching this via the stream?
I'm watching this via the stream. I'm in the Twitch chat right now, baby.
Remember to say hi to Travesty in the Twitch chat. And yeah, with the Galio locked in and the Lucian locked in as well, this does definitely say that Zillion is heading to that support role. On the other side, he's going to be going up against the Xayah and the Morgana. So it's going to be really hard to lock down the Xayah. We've seen in Korea some hypercarry compositions around the Xayah. And, for example, Janna's in the bot lane, etc. And we'll see if Morgana can do the same thing. But it's just allowing the Xayah so much more safety to get to the late game. Get to this point where nobody can get on top of her without getting constantly rooted, kited through. And against the Galio and the Rek'Sai, that's a perfect position for her to be in. Although, she is considered to be countered by the Lucian, with Lucian able to dash around her feathers and put down a lot of DPS in the meantime. It's going to be odd to see, interesting to see where they head with it. And of course, yeah, as we see the team compositions have come out, I'm looking to see this hyper carry composition around the Tristana, but currently baiting us maybe by holding the Lucian in the top lane.
Yeah, it could be a sick bait. Your idea actually did come into fruition there as well, as it will be very interesting to see what they decide to. They need to rotate around as they need to be, but to see a Lucian top, I mean, we've seen it before. I've seen it many times. It's a fun thing to see. As it looks like that may be locked in here, actually. Huh.
Okay, so we could potentially see this as them not being in LCS order. And if we look on the right-hand side, of course, Xayah not being top lane. I think that's pretty much a given. So we'll see the Maokai going top lane, Kha'Zix jungle, and the Syndra mid. So Syndra versus Maokai, this is a matchup we see very much often, as Maokai just able to tank through the Syndra ultimate with his W active, and really mitigating so much of the Syndra's damage, so she doesn't have that kill potential at level 6 that she does in so many other matchups. And it's part of what makes Gallia so safe to just scale up and be this monster tank that's able to deal with most of the opposing team.
Yeah, with this being a Lucian top, though, I do have to actually ask you about this. Are we going to see the Blade of the Ruin King Black Cleaver Lucian in the top lane then?
I think to chunk through the Maokai, that is almost certainly what we're going to see. As that build, Lucian can almost 1v1 anybody, and especially when he's getting solo EXP in the top lane, not having to split that with the support, it's going to make him even stronger coming out of that. But it means, of course, without the support, he doesn't have the protection that he would normally have. So if we see the Kha'Zix coming top lane and the Maokai lands a solid root, he is going to be gone like that, and it's going to be very hard for him to play around those ganks, but he is going to be consistently pushing because he is a Lucian, so we'll see if he can punish this as a split push.
Yeah, it could be a thing to come out in fruition with this comp, especially with the Rek'Sai. You were talking about how it actually builds out a little bit more damage. It's a much more bruiser pick instead of that huge Cinder Hulk where you just jump into the jungle, you take no damage, and you put out a bunch of damage. You don't flash and burrow into a team fight and just knock everybody up. This is a completely different Rek'Sai that does a little bit more damage, a little bit more bruiser-esque. So I do kind of want to wonder, going Rek'Sai into Kha'Zix could be very tricky for the Kha'Zix because Rek'Sai is going to know where he is, and she gets that execute off. It could be very frustrating to be the Kha'Zix in that situation.
Of course, wanting to keep the Kha'Zix at bay for as long as possible. But Kha'Zix, we know, with this Duskblade, is such a strong pick. We've seen the Duskblade changes have come through, but still in the late game, with a Kha'Zix level 18, activating his ultimate, he is able to get off, and bear with me here, 14,040 damage, 1,440 damage, just from the Duskblade passive. If he uses auto, alt, auto, alt, auto. And of course, and then he gets his third alt proc with the level 6 upgrade for it. Then gets the extra auto attack to get that 1,440 damage. And it's just ridiculous how much he can get in terms of the value you get from this item, purely because it doesn't have an internal cooldown. We are expecting that full lethality build from him.
That full lethality build will be pretty nice to tick away and make sure to shred through whatever they possibly can. So definitely gotta see how that decides to play out, as we are going to be getting into game here very shortly.
Are you able to get in via the spectators? Spectating off the back of me?
I am.
Okay.
Nope.
Then it's going to be the dank Skype screen share. This is what we're going for. It's happening.
Gotta love those spectator issues for sure.
We're gonna do it, boy. We're just waiting on me to be able to tab out because for some reason I'm an idiot and I forgot to use windowed borderless. Oh yeah, the dream.
Yeah.
The dream. This is what.
I'm in Twitch chat right now, looking at everything because that's how I had to look at champ selects and whatnot. But I got a lot of questions asking what my expectations are for top lane right now, versus the Maokai versus Lucian, and I'm just saying that I don't know. I want to cheer for Lucian, man.
I think everybody likes a little bit of Lucian top being rooted for.
Yeah, but there is actually rooted for because the Maokai actually is going to be twisted advancing all on top of him. And with some jungle focus, that could be actually just a hell for Lucian as well. But it depends. If Lucian gets ahead, he'll probably be A-okay.
Of course, he needs to get to that point where he can start to get some more tankiness for himself. And it does mean that we have to wait for a while before he gets to that point, but give us just a moment. There we are.
Screen share.
Yeah, trying to get the dank screen share going if you just give us a short amount of time, but these technical issues shouldn't last for too much longer. Just give us a short moment, and the pause comes in at perfect timing.
Woo! They knew.
You have such an edgy Skype name. Come on.
Yeah. Gave me. All right, listen.
All right.
All right, get in it. All right.
Okay, so can you see what I am seeing?
I can see what you see, man.
I am your eyes. I will be your eyes this game.
This is what we are going to be dealing with. Pause going to be taken off. I don't know how well this will be doing for play-by-play, but we're going to roll with it as kind of just the tools that we have to deal with here.
Yeah, I believe we have to log out and log it back in between games. Otherwise, there's significant issues, unfortunately.
Sadly.
And this is the second game of the day, so hopefully the third game of the day will go much better in terms of these technical issues. But coming in with a 5-man stack to put that ward down, just try and spot anybody heading towards these Raptors, so Kha'Zix gets a bit more free time early on. But I am still expecting this Galio Rek'Sai combo to try and walk in, maybe contest these a bit.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they should at this point in time. So we're going to have to see. They are kind of moving up through the top side here. So we'll have to see what goes on inside of these lanes as yeah, going in at this point in time.
They get scared out by the sapling.
Saplings are pretty spooky, man. When you see them grow those legs and they start running at you. And the only complaint I really have about that is just because it wasn't a cat running at him, but that's, you know, that's just about it. We went about that in the last game.
You see a ghost hunter, a void dolphin, and a giant statue walk into a brush and run away from a sapling.
Yeah.
This is what League of Legends is about, and if anybody ever asks you in a bar what League of Legends is about, this is what you tell them. Men being afraid of saplings.
Grown, scary, like ghost hunters, little mole rats. That's what I call Rek'Sai, to be honest.
She's a void dolphin. Have you not heard the dolphin noises?
It could be a void dolphin or stuff like that, but it's not voiced by Shock. So when I had to say, I'm gonna leave it alone. If it was voiced by Shots, I'd call it a dolphin, but that's the only time I would.
NA guys, this is what they're like.
This is what Sin deals with in the background.
This is what I have to deal with when I'm casting the NA scene. God damn it.
But looking at how everything's going, pretty standard, honestly. Really would like to actually hear what your thoughts would be going into this, as we are going into junglers wanting to gank territory here, and both of these junglers are people that could definitely put out that early aggression.
Of course, it's going to be the Rek'Sai going up against the Kha'Zix, as you say. Both have the potential to put up a lot of early aggression, and the Kha'Zix, though, is going to be wanting to wait for that big point where he gets a lot of lethality, can start chunking through members, and that's where he becomes one of the most scary champions in the game right at this moment. There's lethality just so strong, Duskblade so strong, and it just makes Kha'Zix right back in the meta, as we did see him fall off for a short amount of time. But on the other side, the Rek'Sai, as we say, a lot more bruisery than we're expecting the Kha'Zix to be. But still has that level 3 gank potential, but nowhere near as strong as it used to be. The knockup was significantly shorter. And unless his laner's got some follow-up CCs, he's going to really struggle to find much more than that. And he has to really be looking then, if we're talking follow-up CC, towards this mid lane, where Air could potentially land a big Justice Punch and have it followed up with a Rek'Sai gank.
And right now we are looking at how this top lane's going. Kind of normal for what Lucian should have in laning phase, as well as we were talking about it. Laning phase is kind of his until the jungler assistance comes his way, but currently right now, Kha'Zix isn't towards that top side, so it does make you very curious on how this will turn out in the top side.
Yeah, with Kha'Zix not really helping out Marxus at all, leaving Ragnar to just poke him out, but we see how low he went, maybe finding the first blood. Yeah, really underappreciating the amount of damage Lucian can do at this point. with just a few levels, and a couple levels in his queue, and that's going to be the first blood going directly into his pocket. Instantly you see Moxus pick up the double cloth armor, but it's already a little bit too late for that. You've already given up the 400 gold directly to the Ghost Hunter himself.
This is actually a big thing because Ragnar, he actually has the ability to snowball from this point on. You can actually see from his itemization. He's got that Vamp Scepter, so this could be a very scary situation as probably a Bramble Vest coming out as the next thing here. And I do want to get your ideas on how does this Maokai come back? Because now he's in a position where he's down so much CS and he's lost quite a good bit.
Well, really, he has to rely on his jungler to try and get him back into this game, which is a tough ask because really the Kha'Zix is not finding any advantages over RTFX and not really able to get anything over him, even though we've seen RTFX already go back to base and now trying to take his Gromp away. But look at the level difference here. Still the same level, and it's just going to be fairly even farming. So we need to see if Kha'Zix can pull off a gank towards the top side.
Ooh,
if he can try and get Maokai
binding
back into the game, but the binding indeed does land. It's just going to be hopped out of. The fact that you can buffer the CC with the ability to use that rocket jump. Just a small duration where you'll become immune to CC.
Able to jump away really good on the side of Fremy, making sure that he would not be caught up in that sticky situation that it could have been, as we do have to see what will be the options here. Early Serrated Dirk actually being built as well, by the way, by the Kha'Zix, which is very interesting at this point in time. He's wanting to get that lift out, make sure he's as deadly as can be.
Indeed, with a Serrated Dirk already completed above any other any jungle item, any more defensive item, just straight into the Serrated Dirk, knowing how strong the lethality is right now, prioritizing it above all else. Now, as we haven't really mentioned yet, the Duskblade did receive a small nerf on 7.15 and a hotfix in 7.14. But really, around the sort of level 10 mark, or around the sort of, well, even level 8 mark, where you might be finishing that item if you start to snowball ahead, it really only reduces up to about 30 damage, and that's about it. And for each proc from a Kha'Zix reducing 30, that's not enough, but Riftix trying to find the Syndra, and she is going to go down. And that's going to be another kill for them.
Apologies for that, because screen share just froze for me, and it's starting to come back, but it is buffering, so it is a pixelated mess for me. So.
Uh-oh. The dank solo cast? Is this what you're telling me?
It might be kind of coming to that, because it is a... Woo!
I'm just gonna... I might have to try and play by play and then feed you color points to say, this is gonna be interesting. Okay.
It might be that time, because...
Yeah. So really, we're seeing CS advantages in all of the lanes for Bangladesh, and they've accrued 1.5k gold advantage this early in the game. Very impressive. Only 8 minutes in, we're seeing the Galio actually opt for the route of the Rod of Ages in the mid lane, rather than the more often that we see the Abyssal Mask. And can you explain why that might be?
Just more so damage, more so than anything else. I mean, you're foregoing a little bit of tankiness, but you get some HP and some mana off of that. So it is pretty. It's not bad. It still has its points that works out for it. It's not as preferred as some other people might like it. But when you get that Rod of Ages, you do quite a good bit, especially pure tornadoes, and so he'll be able to just actually bully around this Syndra a lot harder now, as Minette will have a harder time trying to fight through those wins.
And yeah, it's gonna. He's sitting at a comfortable position, up quite a lot of CS over this Syndra, so maybe feeling he doesn't have to worry about the damage that she's got at this moment. Maybe can forego that magic resistance in the place of those more aggressive stats that you alluded to, and sitting in a much happier place than he was prior.
Yeah, it's definitely a happy place to be in. Being able to lay out that DPS as need be is always a pleasant thing. I don't think anybody would complain about doing more damage, and that's exactly what he will be doing.
So looking up towards the top lane, we see Moxus opting for the Sunfire Cape first item, knowing he needs to clear the waves as quickly as possible so he can stop getting poked out by the Lucian. And of course, Lucian going for that Blade of the Rune King is going to be happy to heal up, fight with this percentage current health damage, and try and get to the point where he's going to be able to beat this Maokai into the ground. And once he gets that Black Cleaver, that is definitely what we're expecting to see. But what I want to touch on now is the fact that we see the Rek'Sai opting for the Tiamat, harking back to the days gone by where she would be building Titanic Hydra first item before she even finished any jungle items whatsoever, before she even got the Cinderhulk, in fact, just for the extra wave clear in the jungle. And, with the way the Rek'Sai's changed, are we expecting her to go for the more AD route, or to go for this tank that we've seen some in Korea, where they head towards the Locket of the Iron Solari?
Yeah, a lot of Rek'Sais have actually been going for that Locket build. That's been the baseline. I feel like I think a lot of people prefer the AD in like solo queue and stuff like that for that execution potential. But currently, at the moment, everybody's liking to go that Cinderhulk into Locket. I personally still like the AD version, but that's just my personal preference as a jungler player, where I can do a good amount more DPS. And get that little bit more execution to actually work with, as it could go either or. I personally think probably the Cinderhulk route's probably the way we're going to see. Just that way, the Rek'Sai will probably be able to frontline a lot better, since they have this this Lucian top, and then they also have the Tristana. No need to really go super hyper aggressive, especially since we're losing some tankiness from the Gallios build.
So I would like to apologize again because of this technical issues. We are going to be just taking this this stream a bit more chill for this particular game. Of course, I would have to cast it completely solo if we were going to take it completely seriously, and that's not really appealing to me as a color caster. Having to just constantly read out what's going on screen. It's not really the most fun way to cast League, in my opinion, but it's some people's cup of tea, as you being a play-by-play, I think you can attest to.
Yeah. Some people enjoy doing it, man. Yeah, you know, it's some people's certain cup of tea. If you want to, something that we could try to do, we could restart the screen share and see if that fixes it. I don't know if you would want to do that or not.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah, let's try that real quick.
But we see the Kazakhs coming in onto Ragnar, finally ganking this top lane, but nothing coming of it, and he actually gets chunked out massively as well. And as we were alluding to earlier, going for the upgrade of his ultimate first, as you can tell from the color of his scales. And he's going to be opting for that Duskblade damage as much as possible.
Wanting to do as much DPS that you possibly can. It is going to be very interesting to see how they actually end up playing this out, just because of the fact that going for that Duskblade junglers are so good right now. They will actually just snowball and melt through a front line very quickly, especially if you don't have anybody who has a lot of armor on your side.
And how is that looking now? I've reset the screen share.
Let's see. It is stop being pixelated. Stop being pixelated. I don't know. To be honest, it's just super pixelated still.
That's unfortunate. Having to stream run the game and apparently screen share it a little bit too much for my toaster to handle.
It takes a toll.
Apparently my running League on a sweet potato isn't going to work.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
TP coming towards the bot lane from Ragnar, trying to follow up on Moxus coming in, and Fruby is going to go low, but he has the Zillion ult on top of him, and Moxus is going to wait it out, but by waiting out the DPS, by waiting out putting down the damage onto Frumy, it just means he's able to get back into safety, and they're going to pick up Tifa Tunky off the back of that. We see the Rek'Sai get chunked out completely. However, in response, there's just 2 kills back. Going for a third now with the Maokai ultimate, perhaps. Syndra finding the damage. That's Ragnar going down as well. That's currently a 1 for 3 trading for the tower. Definitely not worth. And even though they still sit at this 3k gold lead, lost a big step off of the back of that play.
It's actually very huge right there, just to be able to
Oh no,
Even
air
though
going
it-
down as well.
Oh.
Now getting caught out by the Kha'Zix Masquerade also. And this is going to be the delayed ace as Kha'Zix picks up the double kill. And with that gold, he'll be able to get the Duskblade now. Opting for that even before he's finished his smite item. That's how strong he considers the item at this point in the balance.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest with you. The Duskblade is just so good when you're playing something like the Kha'Zix. Just because of the fact that you get that extra bit of damage once you jump in and do that initial bit of burst. And you really want that in these ganks, to where you can just jump into a mid lane and just execute somebody. Just by jumping in and making sure to wave those hands around, make sure to give them the claws, and be sure to... What?
You just gotta make the cricketune noises. That's what he is, isn't he? He's just a large cricketune.
You know what? That's I actually didn't put 2 and 2 together there. That's actually pretty funny. It's actually a cricket tune. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he is just a very large cricketune, but we see Box is caught out with the double bombs on top of him. Lucian, with the culling, is gonna cull the trees. And not about saving the environment is this Lucian, as now he's gonna chip away at the tower as well. This is a nice little play from Bangladesh to get themselves back in position, get themselves back in the game.
Yeah, great thing for them to actually go ahead and say that, hey, we actually can go ahead and continue taking advantage of the early advantages in the top side and make it their decision to actually just say, this is where we got our early advantages, let's go ahead and press it.
Of course, being able to press these advantages, it will be culminating in the mid lane tower very shortly. Was this Omega squad Tristana picking up the mid lane tower whilst they're looking to take the... Oh, and they do manage to take the Rift Herald. Richard, 4861, potentially going down here as well as he flashes over, but the Galio is directly there to pick him up. That's going to be a kill. 3 and 1 for the Galio.
That was unnecessary, actually,
Yeah.
by Richard there to try and contest that. It's something that was going to go down. There's no point in fighting that. And unfortunately, he loses his life, and an advantage is gained there from Bangladesh. Just they're able to pick up that Rift Herald and also a kill that was basically hand gifted to him.
Now going for the tier 2 mid lane tower, but being collapsed on by this Maokai. And he's going to get chunked out. He's still under tower, and it's going to be RTFX, I'm going to go for. Giving up his life for just a chunk on the tower, and really not worth playing over aggressive. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. He is going for the Titanic Hydra before the Cinderhulk on this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, he's going to be going for that more tank route. I am interested on why they went for the Titanic.
So I feel
In
it's because
regards to it.
he could be going for the Black Cleaver next. Either that or he will be going for the full tank. But there is the
very
potential he goes for the Bruiser build, yes.
Yeah, it's very Bruiser. Which, I mean, even then, you still build him Bruiser, so it's not like out of left field. It's just very interesting that decides to go that route.
Wait, this is full AP Galio. He's building Lichbane now.
I like it, man. I like it. He did actually recently. They lowered the base damages of some of his abilities in increasing the scaling of some of his abilities. I think this was about 2 to 3 patches ago where they did that. So him going full AP, he's going to actually, his abilities were skill better than what they did before. So, and I mean the siege that's there. This actually just screams to me that Rek'Sai's probably going to go full tank after this. But just because of the fact that for him going full AP, even though Galio's naturally tanky with his abilities, it's not a lot of tank sets besides your Round of Ages there.
Oh, they find Richard, and he does go in too aggressive trying to look for the red buff. He gets cut off by the Galio, and this full AP Galio is showing up in the amount of damage he can do. As 1Q chunks the Morgana down so low, and now the Winds of War, the second one, is going to finish her off, stealing the kill away from Frumi as the Satchel Charge was going to kill her, but now Frumi walking directly into a Maokai. And it's going to be chunked out really low. Masquerade has to ult himself, but everybody backing away. Double root from Tifa Tunky forces out the Galio ultimate. It's going to be Frumi going down. Marxus now getting chunked out, and it's going to be him falling as well. But the ultimate in response by Syndra finds the low HP bar of Ragnar, and Ragnar falls. It's going to be a very scrappy fight around this mid lane, but after all, this mid lane tower could still go down, and the ultimate from Rek'Sai finishes him off. And Richard finds the response kill onto the Galio. Just every time there seems to be a kill from the side of Bangladesh, goes directly back into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it's how they're doing. They're still getting objectives out. The neutral objectives that they're still able to get. They're still controlling the map. It's still Bangladesh just feels like they're in the driver's seat at this point in time. After all of that crazy action started with Richard getting picked off again. So we have to kind of see what is their options here. What do we see come out from T Warwick as they are looking to try and halt the control that Bangladesh has been able to exert through the map.
Of course, still having this 4k gold lead for themselves, they can push up through the opposing jungle and try and find some vision around this Baron, which looks to be the next objective, as of course we are past this 20-minute mark. They do have the Mountain Dragon as well for themselves, it's important to note. Getting that extra 10% true damage to the Baron, not something that can be understated, as it speeds up that Baron by potentially about 3 or 4 seconds.
It would be able to definitely help out, especially since when you look at the side of Bangladesh here, especially like you look at how they would do with it, they would be able to melt it. So making sure that Mountain Drake does not go over to the wrong hands would be
indeed,
a very
it's already
important
in the
thing to look
hands
at.
of Bangladesh, so that would
yeah.
allow them to be able to burst the Baron even quicker. And of course, being able to get a little bit more siege damage is going to help them out as well.
Yeah, it will help them out quite a good bit.
Ragnar
As
finding Richard, but Richard under the tower trying to find the kill, but the Blade of the Rune King heal is enough. And going too aggressive for that assassination, thinking the Duskblade could do all the work for him, and in fact, this Blade of the Rune King, Black Cleave Evolution, god damn, he's too tanky. And he's going to get out of there completely alive, completely almost unscathed. Didn't have to burn a single summoner, only the culling going to finish off that kill.
Yeah, the Cullen would be able to glack away as he was able to pick himself up. That kill, that is pretty big there, but Air is looking to do some other craziness, it looks like.
And it's going to be Air getting chunked out very low, but he is going to back off through this choke point. And they're going to be rather happy leaving the split pushes of the AD carries in the side lane right now. As, of course, Torstana, a fairly safe champion with that rocket jump to get her to safety. And Lucian with his ability to kite back and ice skate across the rift is going to keep him fairly safe as well. Richard does still go for the kill onto Frumi though, trying to find him, and the big chunk of damage does blow the flash, but the slow... Oh, and now the Marxus arriving, this is going to be Frumi falling to his death. Maybe over-aggressing slightly, not respecting where the Kha'Zix was, but Kha'Zix managing to cheekily slip through where the vision is and find himself that kill, and it's going to keep Frumi off of the map for a while, going to give them some respite where they can try and get control back over this topside jungle.
Yeah, Frumi probably thought that if Richard showed up, he could throw that bomb onto him and tick away at his life, but not going to be able to do that in this situation here, as you're going to have to see how that is going to play out. Now, looking at how this game will continue to go here, Richard has to, he's looking for these picks, but you've noticed that he's done this and it's turned out to not be effective for his team. So he has to be careful. It's kind of like a double-edged sword at this point in time. Richard, if he finds somebody, he can take him out. But if he's the one that's found, we've already seen, he will be the person to go down and will start up some of this early aggression from Bangladesh.
So looking on the other side now, we can see the Maokai is coming in hard onto Masquerade, forcing out the ult very early. And now they're just going to back off, knowing that summoner is that ult is blown. And they're turning onto Ragnar, but here comes the Galio ultimate to find the kill onto Richards. Ragnar still alive, even with the grievous wounds on him, and finally going to be finished off. And not before The Maokai falls as well, but this is still turned into a 3 for 2. There's on the other side Tifa Tunky, Burnt Mace, and of course MNET find 3 kills for themselves. Frumi, Masquerade, Ragnar all die that fight. But really, we're seeing the strength of this Galio right now. He is opting to go for the Raptor Cloak. So I'm wondering what this will be building into now. There's a couple items that Raptor Cloak builds from.
Yeah, it's a very interesting Galio build. So he's actually gone for this one where he's able.
Goes in hard onto multiple members with this full AP build, and they find Tifa Tunky. Great turnaround, and Air with this full AP is just able to chunk through these members. Finds a 2-man Winds of War, and nothing more going to come of that. He's just going to chunk the members low enough to force them back to base. Now Rek'Sai going to take this Scuttle Crab, heal himself up. Heal herself up. I did just assume her gender. I apologize.
Yeah, he was about to say you're assuming her gender. Come on, man.
I know better than that. I've been taught by Tumblr. Don't worry about it.
Born in the Tumblr, molded by it. As
didn't see Facebook until I was already a man.
It was definitely kind of what you were talking about. I do want to touch on the Galio's build where he's got this Rod of Ages Lichbane. When he goes in for that punch, it actually just hurts because he goes in for that punch. He has the taunt. He has this damage reduction that goes along with his kit. The Winds of War come out, and it's so much damage that sits on you, and it's also good immediate damage as well. So he has this burst, and then he has the sustained damage from the Winds of War. So if you don't get out of the way immediately, you will get ticked away very quickly by this build that we're seeing from Air. Ooh.
There's nothing really going to come of it on the screen as we see now. They're starting to play around this Baron in terms of positioning, but not really getting many wards down, and that kind of tells me that it's going to be a fairly slow game from here, and unfortunately for us, that slow game is going to drag all the way out. So I'm going to start talking about this Omega Squad Tristana. We've seen the Omega Squad skins recently. What do you think of them?
I mean, they're pretty good, man. I honestly don't have much of an opinion on it just because of the fact I haven't really looked at them.
Come on, man. Google it. Google it.
The last time I saw...
Look at that splash art. It's beautiful.
Last time I saw an Omega Squad skin was the Tristana last game, and last night when I played, and it did not bode well for me, so there's bad memories there. There's a couple tears. They're trying to hide
speaking
away.
of not boding well, Frumi jumps in and gets chunked out really hard. He does manage to block the Morgana, well, dodge the Morgana binding barely, and surviving on less than 100 HP. So gonna get out rather lucky with that one, but unbind your W, man. Don't do this. Oh wow, what? This is a Galio with Omewrecker.
Alrighty, so we have an Omewrecker. Alright, so to kind of go about how Omewrecker is, because a lot of people don't know what this item does because you never see it. You can actually use this for some tower diving potential. So that actually works well with the comp that they do have. As I
mean, I don't think he's built it seriously, to be fair.
I'm just trying to put the serious on it because.
Oh, here comes Marcus coming in for the Baron, but they do secure the Baron for themselves. Riftix is looking so low, but he doesn't go down as Richard falls down on the other side. Burnt Mace going low. Also, with the Galio ultimate coming in, is going to keep Ragnar alive a little bit longer. Gets the kill back onto Mignut. No! The exhaust comes through, but not enough to keep the members alive. They get the Baron, but they lose 2. And it's a 2 for 2, but getting the Baron still, getting that gold into their pocket. It could have gone better for them, but ends up ending very close. As they're going to try and push this Baron minion wave in the top side to get this tower and then perhaps back off. As they do use the Omewrecker to do so.
Omewrecker usage is glorious. You can never deny the Omewrecker as being something fun to watch. As I'm just getting to a point where I can see it now. the record kill there, as that is just they didn't even have to use it there.
I think he used it for the style points more than anything. It's already a quarter off cooldown, so he's pretty happy with himself.
It's for the swag points for sure. As gotta look at how this Galio is building. He is having so much fun here. 7-2-4. He is. It's almost like he's memeing inside of this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunately this game has turned into a bit of a meme. Hopefully the next one will be a little bit better in terms of technical issues. Can't promise it's going to be better in terms of memes. It is going to be Drulio and the gang coming in for a final game of the day. Of course, they're back, and they're back with a vengeance, knowing that their longtime rivals Aston aren't going to be in this tournament, giving them a free path to try and find that top 3, as they were the finalists last summer, just losing out to Aston, and looking for some revenge. But getting back into this game, Bangladesh sitting up 7,500 gold, but struggling to find these crucial kills in teamfights to be able to force through the base. There's only just one tower left outside of that base. It's looking really difficult for them to siege, but now Richard fail jumps over the wall, is going to be caught out by Frumi, pops the ultimate for a little bit of invisibility. And it's going to be safe for now. Doesn't even pop the ultimate, just the invisibility from walking into a brush. And in fact, third time's charm, he did pop his ultimate.
Yeah, bad spot right there. Not the situation you want to be in for sure. As Frumi is at the point now where he just does so much damage. He has an IE, static shiv, and rapid fire cannon. You get in range of him, he will throw that bomb on you, auto you twice, and that's just about your HP.
Oh, Frumi looks like he's going to go down, caught by the Unleash Power by Syndra, but he's going to survive it with the thanks to that Chrono Shift. But Ragnar now potentially caught out on the other side, but the Galio ultimate is going to save him, but Tifa Tunky out of position. Does have to pop the Feather Storm, but does still go down as air flashes on top of him for that final hit. And this with the Ohm-Wrecker now used in this bottom side. Oh, could find the tower, but no! It's going to be Ragnar dying beforehand, and the air does get the kill back in response. 1-for-1. And the tail of the game, 1-for-1s. 17 kills to 16, 31 minutes in. Absolutely insane game. And finally, we're seeing these inhibitor towers be sieged upon.
Yeah, they're taking it slow and steady. It's almost like they know we have these technical issues.
Yeah, they're trying to prolong our suffering.
They're like, Sin is over here doing this, his play-by-play, and they're just like, good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know my play-by-play is awful, but I'm trying, guys.
And I know my color's like super far behind. Every single fight I see is like 5 minutes behind, but
really,
hey,
is the delay become that much?
the screen share stopped working for me.
Yeah, I turned it off because I didn't want it to slow down the stream.
Yeah,
so you're better off just watching the stream.
It's like a 20 to 30 second delay.
Okay.
It's not. 5 minutes is a little bit of an exaggeration for sure. I do have to say, when we're looking at this as it's going about, Dragon's going to be spawning up here. Next Dragon that will be spawning, I'm actually not too terribly sure. I think it's supposed to be the Elder now, right?
Yeah, the next Dragon is the Elder, as we see double Ocean and Mountain. So I want to quickly touch on the fact that we see the Galio build is now the Liandry's Torment, Lich Bane, and Rod of Ages. And this isn't all too far from a build I have seen previously. The Hextech GOP into Liandry's Torment into full tank was the build I knew for full AP Galio. So just going a little bit diverting just a little bit on that by going for the Lich Bane and Ohm-Wrecker.
I don't know what you're talking about. Ohm-Wrecker? That sounds meta to me.
And that's what every Galio builds nowadays. Did you not watch the LCK?
Yeah, did you not watch Faker? Come on, dude. He played it.
Yeah, Faker played Galio jungle with first item Ohm-Wrecker.
Yeah. Didn't even get a smite.
Nope, no, like... he took Ghost and Flash.
He took Ghost and what's that one? Clarity. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. No. You're telling me he bought Shirelia's and took Revive?
Yeah.
He bought the item that allows you to recall it without having to walk back to the base.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's all you gotta do.
But you gotta think about those Season 1 things. Think of all the things that changed in League. And
Like
Remember,
Reeve.
like what? Sorry.
Reeve, was that the name of it? It was the red eyeball thing. It gave you like extra AD for like a short period of time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking more like Heart of Gold.
Heart of Gold, Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, yeah. Those were the days. Philosopher's Stone, God. And you go for
Being
the
a support was a much easier time.
Oracle's Elixir. Yeah.
9 HP pot, Mordekaiser starts.
Oh, God.
Oh.
It's amazing when you look at this game. It's 7 years in, and it's been going so strong for this entire time, constantly rising in popularity. And it's because of how much it's evolved over time. You can watch those Season 1 games, and you see the casters get incredibly excited about an Ash arrow landing from halfway down the lane, as if it's the best play that's ever happened, because it was at the time. It's amazing to compare that to how it is now. And when we see a long-range Ash arrow, it's just kind of like, and the long-range Ash arrow. Okay.
Yeah, my personal favorite is the Fiddlesticks ulting over the wall and hearing Kobe going, you know, like that's probably my favorite hype I've ever heard.
For me, one of them is Rivington with the Kazakhs going for the multi-jump, but this is going to be the Baron quickly going into the side. Oh, it does go over to Bangladesh, but multiple members die off the back of this. Fruby has to be ulted by the Galio. Is he going to be saved? And no, he falls down, and so many members dying here. This is looking to be almost an ace from the side of Manatee Warwick. And it's going to be still at a 9k gold disadvantage, but finding these team fights consistently. No, how can they be able to be this far down and still find so many advantages, Travesty?
It's honestly their comp. Their comp actually is something that you should not sleep on. They have this huge pit comp where you do have the Dustblade Kha'Zits that actually will be able to lay out quite a huge chunk of damage. And you do have a Syndra. And Syndra, even at a behind position, it's to a much smaller extent, but it's kind of like the Orion.
Yeah, I mean, I like Syndra from the behind position as well.
Oh my god! Well, besides that, she got her own things to do, man. She got her own balls, but we got the way she actually ends up playing out this is just like like I said, to a much smaller extent to Oriana, where even from behind, once she still gets her itemization, she still will be fine. You do see she went to Morello, into Ludens, into Void Staff. She has plenty of pin there, which her next item will probably be a Leandre's from the looks of things. So she's got plenty of pin to go alongside with it, and it's as you saw at that Baron Pit. She lays out so much damage on this much squishier comp that has been drafted by the side of Bangladesh.
And now going for this Death Cap final item, as you say, with the Void Staff completed, with the Leandries completed. She's going to be looking to just burst through as many members as possible with these AoE stuns that she keeps landing to great effectiveness, and it's why she's sitting at 7, 2, and 8. And this has really been such a mid lane focused game. So you see the Galio 10 and 3, Syndra 7 and 2. And it's just a case of who can put out more teamfight DPS, who can be the bigger carry for their team. And although Galio putting up a valiant effort, it's just he can't seem to do it on his own.
Yeah, it's honestly just how his comp works right now, just because of the fact that they don't have, with Fermi being so far behind in terms of his start, he does have the itemization, so he still puts out the damage that is needed, but they don't have this like big front line. And right now, currently, everybody talks about is the league of tanks. So currently, right now, with them not really having anybody exploiting that, it's a little bit of a spooky situation from the side of Bangladesh. Is even when they end up getting that Baron buff, the only one person able to survive with it, it can be ways for where we can see the Manatee Warriors actually climb their way back into this game.
We see that a fight happens and so much used in terms of damaging auto abilities, damaging auto attacks, etc. But not much comes for it, and it seems like we're going to have a pause coming as Syndra does disconnect.
And it gives us more time to talk about League of Legends. Come on.
Yeah, League of Legends is that game we play, yeah? Yeah?
No, we don't play it. We just talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about some of the gold leads as we see 3k. Well, roughly 3k in the advantage of Ragnar, but it doesn't really matter because tanks can be so low economy and still have such a high impact. But we look towards the mid lane, and although the Galio has managed to accrue 17k for himself, putting himself like 1.25k above the Syndra, it doesn't really matter all that much anymore because they're both very close to full items. It's having less and less impact as the gold advantage as the game goes on. So this 7k could quickly not matter at all, and we could see them. We could see the side of Manatee Warwick just happily to walk in and take a team fight, even in a disadvantaged position, because they can burst through anything that Bangladesh has ready to spring on them.
Yeah, you can actually say that the longer this game goes, the more in favor it goes for Manatee Warriors, just because their comp, they do have a Maokai. They have somebody who can frontline for them. They have a spell shield to help out whichever squishy carry you decide to go in, where Richard's going to want to try and pick somebody off on the side. You have so many different things that actually kind of be like a safety net to actually help them scale up. And as it is, Ragnar, he's gone for after he went for the Blade of Ranking into Black Cleaver, he went Rapid Fire. He's gotten that Mortal Reminder, and it looks like his next item probably going to be a Bloodthirster, just from the looks of things. Or he could go for probably
Play is about to be resumed.
Yeah.
So the Kha'Zix does go down, not really playing for the sportsmanship, instead trying to get as much as they can, but they lose 2 members in response. Moxus is about to go down, but Manette finds Ragnar, and he gets another one onto Fruming. Now it's Air versus 2, finds one of them as it's only the mid lane is surviving. And Air, the significantly tankier of the two, if he finds a Justice Punch, this could be it, but the Justice Punch is cancelled by the knockback, and Minette going to be happy to survive this one. Air going to back off with his tail firmly between his legs and just try and push this bot lane instead. But we see the 4 for 4 in that fight, absolutely explosive, even though Richard went off and died by himself immediately at the start due to his mid laner disconnecting.
Yeah, it's pretty unlucky, very unfortunate, but you have to think, from the Manatee Warwicks, if they are trading 1 for 1 when they're behind, it is definitely good for them, because they do not want Dash to actually be able to come out with any slight advantages from these fights, because they want this game to go on for longer. They want to make it to where they can't siege any points of the map, and as you can see, with Air being the only person that survived that, not much else that you can do there. He actually did get rid of his own record, by the way. I don't know if you happen to notice that, but he
has gone for the gargoyles. Yeah, and getting the Rabadon's death cap as well, not giving up on this full AP. And he only really has 1 health item to go on top of this, or 2 health items rather, to go on top of this Gargoyle Stone Plate. So really using that as his only way to get resistances in this game. But with the 3 dragons and the Infernal Drake, maybe they can look to pick up... the Elder Drake rather. Maybe they can look to finally pick up a team fight in their favour, as every single one has gotten away from them thus far.
Yeah, this is big. This the fact that this actually goes over is huge, because Manatee Warrior did not have the ability to go onto it. Nobody was in the correct position. They were all backing at the time of the dragon starting. So this is exactly what Bangladesh actually needs to put themselves back on the map and make sure that they can take control over this series that feels like it was starting to slip away.
Indeed, it was starting to slip away for them, but it's been firmly back into pretty much a stalemate where they just clear the waves, and really Bangladesh knows that they can't push too much farther forward because they can get busted instantly by the Syndra. They can't run through her. It's now sitting at 10-2, really showing up big in these late game team fights. Full items now as well, it's important to note. And she is terrifying.
And she is actually so spooky at this point in time. Going to be able to lay out the deeps as need be, and they have to watch out. They have to play clean around this. If they do get a pick, it'd be big for them, as Richard was just in the jungle not too long ago trying to get something going their way, but that damage that just comes out here.
It's unfortunate now that they've wasted half of their Elder Dragon buff without really forcing a team fight, but now maybe looking for something. And the waves just being cleared so quickly, they can't find a team fight right now. And of course, with Baron spawning very quickly, they desperately need to find an advantage to walk up to that objective and see if they can take it. But now Frumi, chunked very low, is going to go down, but stays alive due to the Chrono Shift and walk away. And this Zilean has been doing work. Frumi constantly getting caught out, but kept safe by his support. As you see, now it's just become again a farming simulator. I mean, it turned from the clown fiesta early on, where everybody was killing everybody, to really a clown siesta. As it's making me want to have a nap, but finally the tower goes down. And they are just going to back off with that as the Elder Dragon has run out. Now try and get a base off and see if they can get back to that Baron as quickly as possible. But they're making a beeline for it as the side of Manatee Warwick, but instead, you know, the Kha'Zix, he wants some raptors.
Hungry for those chickens, man. He's a hungry guy. It's time for some chicken dinner, you know what I'm saying? But
this ain't PUBG.
It might be for him right now, man. He might be playing on the second monitor. Who knows? Because he has been getting... He's going for those chickens instead of rushing down that Baron.
Just kind of AFK clicking on the chickens.
Yeah.
And then going to play PUBG.
Yeah, that's what I felt like at a moment there. I thought that might have been a decisive call to come out from the side of the Manatee Warriors, but they decided they'd rather play it safe, which can't really get too upset at them for doing. It's better for them to play safe in this situation when they're still doing a good job at coming back in these fights. So let's not throw, even though the gold lead is actually getting wider and wider, but with full builds coming out, you gotta think that's not going to matter before too much longer.
As you say, the gold lead meaning less and less, but the towers still mean a lot in terms of how deep you can pressure, how deep you can push the waves, and how deep you can put vision. Because the 7 towers to 3, still a significant amount of work for the side of Manatee Warwick left to do if they want to win this game. And now the Maokai getting chunked very low. Nagalio coming in on top of multiple members. In response is the Maokai ultimate. It's going to turn down, but the Rek'Sai does stay alive with the Chrono Shift. Is going to just about get away, but no, the Zilean goes down as well. The Lucian so far forward finds the Syndra. That's the key member gone. And they have found a 1-for-1, but he is actually going to stay alive with the Guardian's Angel. Moxus now going low as well, but it's so low on all the health bars from both teams besides Air. Managing to find another kill with Frumi. A 3-for-3, so chaotic, but again, no major advantages found for either team. Such a stalemate.
And such a... These teams are so evenly matched right now from the way that they're playing.
Does mean the inhib's going to go down with these members off the board. Not able to clear the waves quick enough. Potentially the bot lane inhib as well.
Could be. They don't have anybody to really stop this from happening either.
Oh, and now the Xayah does go down here. And Frumi goes 1v1 with the Kha'Zix. Dangerous place to be. And that causes his death. As wow, Air chunks that inhibitor from 1/3 HP to dead instantly. And the 2 inhibs down. Maybe now, finally, they can leverage this advantage into perhaps a game-ending fight or a game-ending play. As Lucian's so exacerbated with this now to the point where he's bought the ZZ Rot portal.
Oh, I just saw the buy on my side as well. ZZ Rot Lucian. Very interesting.
I sold it. You sold it instantly.
Right. Okay. I saw it and I was just like, oh my god, the ZZ Rot.
He's got 2 crit items now with the Rapid Fire Cannon and Infinity Edge, looking to try and chunk through these more tanky members and burst the squishiers even faster. As he's got a lot of flat AD with the item build. Only one item doesn't give him more than, say, 40 AD. And it's really looking to be a nice late game Lucian sitting at the 888, the crazy 8s, and seeing if he can go crazy in these team fights. He's been playing really far onto the front lines.
he's going to want to pop off as hard as possible at this point in time, because right now, as it is, he hasn't really been a factor in this game. Out of the laning phase, he hasn't really been able to impact any fights or anything like that. He lays out the deeps, but he can't do anything to keep himself alive, and it's just really brutal for him at this point in time, because it's gotten to that point where now you have a
big fight starting out as the Syndra's dead, the Zaya's dead. And oh wow, all the members falling, the Morgana goes down, the Maokai is found, and they get forced to engage on them at this Baron. They know that it's going to go down and it could cause the end of the game, and that's going to be the Ace coming through, TPing into the base. Ragnar, now with his bonus attack speed, is going to chunk through this tower. The Lich Bane from air is going to burst the towers as well, as he keeps on just chaining his spells together to get more damage. That's going to be the end of the game with a very clean team fight. Clean ace from Bangladesh. And that cheeky little Zonya's Hourglass from air to show himself. As highlighted in the endgame screen. Sitting 13, 3, and 12 on this AP Galio.
Yeah, he put in the work that was needed. It was super interesting. So he had the Oathbreaker, he had the Gargoyle Stoneblade. He's like, alright, I'm gonna get Hourglass now. I really like the fact that he was just like, you know what, I can go for whatever itemization I may need.
So we are going to be going to a very short break. Like I say very short, I mean very short.
Yes, we are going to be going on a very short break, so you guys be sure to not go anywhere. We'll be back with a third game. Hopefully no technical issues, as we will be right back. And hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to NUEL Summer Tournament, League of Legends Week 2. We are in our third and final game of the day, where we are going to have UOS Fire return once again to go against Drulio and the gang. But without further ado, my name is Travis C. Powers, and I'm joined here by the lovely, non-technical issue having Sin McLeod.
And we're going to jump right into game by the looks of this, as they've already started picks and bans. As we see, not anything has happened just yet. The first ban is going to be that Corki coming through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, I do kind of want to go ahead and say UOS Fido have actually already played.
Oh, there we go.
The Alawi. No Tentacles going to be coming out today.
And yeah, Ishbel showed up big time on that Alawi last time we saw UOS Fire. So Julio and the gang respecting that. These are both two of the top teams. I believe this is actually the final of the day where we will see the two highest seeded teams going up against each other. And really, Drulio and the gang, having come out of that first week 3-0, feeling confident for themselves, as we alluded to in the last game, with Aston gone, their longtime rivals having such a negative record against them, though. Having them out of the way is going to give them a free chance at this top 2, top 3 perhaps, and UOS Fire is definitely going to be right there with them. So we're going to be having to see how this game plays out, and if the meme lords themselves, Drulio and the gang, are going to be doing anything particularly interesting, or if we're going to see another Clown Fiesta like last week, 50 minutes, 60 kills, and the full lethality Jarvan jungle.
I would love to see it. I love seeing some lethality Jarvan, but Maokai is open, so why not pick up the tree itself? It's a flex pick that we have seen come into fruition. It's been in the jungle one game, it's been in the top lane one game, so we're going to have to see which role does it end up going over to now, as this does leave Julio to kind of pick up their next two picks, see what direction they want to pull going against this Maokai.
And instantly we see something interesting, which is the Darius pick. Of course, we can flex the Maokai to the jungle, as we see. Ewan is able to play these tank junglers very effectively, in which case you can play something like the Gnar top lane into the Darius, and that can go very rough for you. But I want to highlight Drulio and the gang for some things we know them for. They're excellent at creating these hype videos that we see from them, and if you check Bango's YouTube, it's one of the best things that you'll see in UK League of Legends. But if you look at the way they've played, this is the team that ended up almost being disciplined for running 5 TPs in a game, TPing onto Baron at 20 minutes and taking it. I mean, they did lose that game, but they got the Baron.
That's what counts. That's all you really need. As Group actually has hands on his own Jhin, by the way. I know you're going over to the meme territory, but the Jhin's actually pretty impactful, and the fact that they picked up Darius so early, they picked for Renekton as an answer and kind of showed that Maokai is more than likely going to be in the jungle.
Yeah, it's definitely looking to be the case to see these two bully top laners up against each other. As you alluded to, Jhin, Roop's best champion consistently, one of his most practiced champions. He pulled this out in the playoffs and the gauntlets last season, only really countered by the Twitch of Redemption from Grey Warwick, and I was informed back then, but Twitch is actually a soft counter to Jhin. Jhin obviously wants to push in the first level or so. Once the Twitch gets to level 2, happy to throw that W down, slow down the Jhin, stick to him, clear the waves much easier with the poison, and things can really snowball from there.
Yeah, things can actually just go absolutely crazy when you look at that, and that option is available to him. But there's not going to be any curse of the sad mummy here today. Mumu is not going to go over to Julio and the gang, as they're not going to be able to crack the cold one open with the boys. But they do have a Nivea to try and help that out. They will be able to get that. But last ban coming out, Galio, first ban of the night. Not going to see it today.
Yeah, well deserved. Especially in the lower elos than competitive, which is like high challenger. Galio's a little bit ridiculous, getting him off the board. Getting him out of the way and basically allowing you to play a mid laner that has some damage without going, oh, I just get hard countered and because I can't do anything for the first 50 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and Tristana getting banned out as well. So pick's gonna go over to them. They could go ahead and pick up their AD carry here, but they also have a jungler that they have yet to pick up. Going over some AD carry picks.
So, this is an Anivia, yeah, that we've not really talked about.
Yeah,
Kind of brushed over it. Could be going support or mid lane. We have seen it in support sometimes in the past. I say support only because it's Drulio in the game. But it is traditionally a mid champion. We already have the Braum, but what's to say Braum isn't going AP attack speed jungle like somebody we know?
Yeah, there's somebody that I was about to say. You're starting to talk like somebody I know.
He'd be proud of me.
He would be proud. He probably would listen to this. A single tear would go down his face for sure. As besides tears being fully stat, Trundle's coming back, and this is more than likely another support Trundle.
And of course, yeah, support Trundle into the most likely the Braum. I just find that so funny that I have to say most likely. But yeah, it's gonna be Trundle is gonna be going up against them because he wants to destroy tanks. He wants to obliterate any tankiness that somebody in the game might have. And of course, Braum, one of those champions that is going to get a little bit tankier as the game goes on. So you're going to be trying to chunk through him. However, Trundle has to stick to him. And Braum, we know, is adept at kiting back. And oh wow. This is...
It's a yeet!
Yeet! This is Yee Jungle coming at you, boys. I mean, what's a tank meta when you see the only tank in the game being this Maokai, and now we see the Master Yi in the jungle? Wow, okay. I have no words.
I honestly don't have words. Yeah, I don't have many words for this, actually. Besides the fact that it is the Yi. Yi jungle, clear speed, you know, he's all good about that. He can split push, he can do all that cute stuff, but in tank meta, he's not somebody that you normally see. Over in NA, I just actually had a game where somebody picked the Yi, and me and my co-caster were stunned back then as well. So maybe
you're cheating on me with other casters, Travesty.
Hey man, look, sometimes some people will be like, hey man, you want to cast with me? I'm like, yeah dude, sure. No, you don't send me invitations anymore, man. You don't ever invite me out to dinner. So like
I don't ever invite you to Flex Q anymore. The spark's gone from our friendship.
Yeah, the spark is gone. This is actually, this whole cast is just a attempt to rekindle the flame. We're trying to work out our issues on stream here. But what are your thoughts actually on this stream, on this these teams here? Because you have on one hand a very meta looking comp drafted by the time of UOS
Fire.
Yeah. Versus Julio in the game, which have this kind of nah, it's not kind of, it's very off meta.
I mean, you don't want to get inside Drul's head here. You don't want to try. If once you get in there, there's layers upon layers. You don't want to start. Because once you get in there, there's no getting out.
Try to keep that in mind as I try to inside of his head. But what are your thoughts going as these comps go head to head here, son?
So, as an Anivia for late game scaling, we know that Master Yi can be very strong in the late game. And Darius is going to be looking to try and make these team fights possible by having this big frontline force disrupting a lot of people, and Anivia is going to help him do that. Braum, yeah, there's a fair amount of pick in this bot lane with Braum and Ashe. But when we look towards the team fights, Ashe doesn't have the same DPS that Jhin is going to have. Rupa is going to have on this Jhin, so can they try and make up for it in other ways? Can they make these picks? Can they find members out of position? Because we know, we've seen in the past, Jhin has issues into Ashe, of course, wants to pop his ultimate. Ashe just ults him in the face, and then he's like, oh, I guess I have no ult now.
I actually really like the fact that you're talking about the AD carries here. Because these are both two AD carries that have the potential to engage for their team, or at least set up the page for a engage, where when it comes to Ashe, it's much more their hard engage that they have, correct? you look at Jin, it's something that allows the Maokai to actually get in the range for twisted advances for the Renekton to go for that slice and dice for Victor to get that gravity field. So you have the soft gauge that starts up from Jin, but there's a hard engage from Ashe, and you have to look at Chipmunk to actually be landing these arrows when they matter.
So in this game, it's going to be my boys, the University of Strathclyde, going up against the boys, Drulio and the gang. And we'll have to see how they perform, because looking at the compositions, we can say fairly simply that it looks like the side of UOS Fire should win. They have a well-rounded team composition, they have a fair amount of wave clear, they have a top laner that can bully out, and if he gets ahead of the Darius is going to find it really difficult to get back into the game. Of course, Maokai there to set up the CC. Trundle is going to be able to help chunk through members by taking away their tank stats. There's a lot to be said for the ability to just have that well-rounded team composition that I say about, and find team fights, find picks with their composition. And on the other side, it just seems like it's bits and bobs of a team comp without really much synergy, but you can't really deny that Drulio and the gang potential. And, there's a bit of magic with this team. There always seems to be around this summer season. I have to see how they perform.
You have to actually ask yourself, if Osmo Dean actually does really well this game, does that mean we have to start calling him Yeezus? Because he will definitely be performing a miracle for sure, making sure to get super ahead in this, because it's really hard as a Yi to look at this and look at all the CC that's there and be able to make something happen. But we are about to find out. We do have UOS Fire versus Drulio and the gang. We are going to see this match go underway, as it looks like a standard start actually coming out from Drulio and the gang. But a possible 5-man stack? Question mark?
I don't feel like it's going to be. It's going to be a line of scrimmage coming out here, but I want to touch on quickly what you just alluded to. Master Yi versus this amount of CC. There's so much peel, of course, with the Victor Gravity Field, with the stuns and the roots that can come out. And of course, the pillar to keep him at bay as well. It's just meaning that it's so much harder for Asmodee to stick on top of somebody. And of course, that is what Master Yi needs to do to put down this DPS. So it seems like he'll need QSS fairly soon to be able to find anything in the game.
Yeah, first item QSS in the jungle. Let's see it. But
he just goes for the full like Draven build, but in the jungle.
Yeah, just go for the full Draven effect in the jungle. It's the same champ basically, but
I mean, Draven with Duskblade first item is now the thing, but before Duskblade was broken.
Yeah, before Duskblade was
before
broken,
Death's Dance was broken.
Yeah, before everything was always a broken item, but we do have.
There's always another broken item, indeed.
I just like the fact that when the camera pans over, it shows the mastery from on the E. He's flashing his mastery at the point like he knows that the camera's panning over, and just showing, hey, I can play this champion.
So
there's a lot of this E.
There's an important thing to note with Spod, that normally he has one of his abilities mapped with his mastery emote as a macro. So whenever he casts his ability, he also casts... There it is! You see? There it is. Whenever he casts his ability, he always pops the mastery as well. It's a nice little cheeky thing we always see from him. And the cheese! The level 2 gank! Forcing out the flash from Ishvel already. And Spod baited him in with the bad trade, and now that's going to give him full control over this lane.
That is pretty big right there, allowing him to actually get the control over the minion wave for sure, as maybe we're seeing the strats from Osmodine, these early ganks. He might not be that farmy that everybody loved. I'm sorry, I just love the fact he has his mastery put onto it as a macro.
He used to actually play a bit of ADC, and I remember he had it on Sivir, with all of his individual abilities mapped with his mastery emote. And that was when I noticed it. It was honestly hilarious. So this is what he does consistently. And I love that you get a macro, and what is the first thing you think about doing? It's not ward hopping, it's not working out how to create macros for other things. It's instantly, how do I BM the best? And he is effectively BMing.
Yeah, but let's see what the ultimate BM is, as the minions are able to take his life. That is a first blood that is coming out. Shiva not showing that he is not somebody you sleep on.
Yeah, the disrespect by going with the Ignite as well. Starting early with that. Not having the TP for himself means he's going to lose a lot of CS on this tower. If he starts falling behind Ishvel, it's pretty much game over for this lane.
Yeah, it's very, very rough, especially since Spot actually did go to the Ignite path. He put down the Ignite in that little trade, but it wasn't enough to cook away at his life with that bleed being amped on to Shiv here, as he is fucking jive his way to getting that kill and getting that extra Doran's Blade and Longsword to make him very aggressive in this lane.
I'm sorry, just a little bit of lag issues. Hopefully it will fix itself shortly. It normally does. I'm just going to speed it up with the fast forward button when it gets there. I'm literally having to go increments at a time right now. This is painful.
We're hearing Sins just slowly die inside as he's watching everything happening frame by frame, 1 frame at a second. That's how you play League of Legends. That's how you review the game.
And this is what League of Legends is all about, as finally it does come back into it. So I'm going to try and speed up quickly, hope I don't miss all that much. And then it freezes on live again.
Yeah, we are live. We are good to go. As
there we go. Still 1-0 to the side of UOS Fire. 400 gold lead for themselves, with this bot lane consistently pushing in, but not really finding much of a CS advantage. As Asmodine does head towards the mid, but Drools can't set him up with that Q. And it does mean that nothing more is going to come of it. You really need to be able to set him up with a CC combo, perhaps landing the wall there once he's got the ultimate ready, and then Asmodine can come in for that gank. It just seems a little bit too premature.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Jules can actually do some of those things that you're just alluding to with that wall. Have to see if he's going to be able to set up those plays.
Build a wall.
Maybe mess up some pathing. Yeah, build the wall.
I mean, you're the NA caster. You know about this more than I do.
I know, stop. No, I don't want this.
What did Carolina vote for? What did North Carolina vote for?
Look, man, we don't talk about this, man.
This is what we talk about here.
No, I don't want it. Do not want it.
But talking about not wanting it, this trade coming back, now stacking up those concussive blows onto Patsy. And he's taking a much more of a chunk than he would have wanted to. Of course, once again, we see the Trundle support going for the Relic Shield to be able to try and keep himself healthy by killing those minions.
And making sure he's getting that pillar. Not going to do much else, but nothing else really happening on any of the other lanes. The CS differentials are starting to show, though, and that could tell a story of how the advantages will be gained in some of these lanes.
So we see 300 gold coming out in the top lane right now for Ishvel. And he's bought the double Dorans for that extra early game pressure, but speaking of double Dorans, Spot having to go for the Doran shield on top of his blade to stay healthy. As Ewan's moving forward, they're trying to find him. But he's going to come back with a big
Spoot is
trade.
actually going to be able to lay out a decent trade with him. Ewan actually throwing out the sapling, throwing it out, saying, "Go forth, my child." It split on Spot, and he's just going to go ahead and walk away. That was what he sticked around for, just to throw a sapling at Mr. Spot.
So we're going to see now, as I sneakily pan down, the Inferno Dragon going down to Asmodine. All 4 members do collapse on this with the bot lane having recall. This is free for them. And this is going to give them a significant amount of a later game scaling, and goes against the passage of players. Trulio and the gang managed to find something on the map that's going to give them an advantage later in the game, and we know Anivia's late game scaling is big. If they can rely on her and, of course, the Master Yi once they get there. Oh, that's actually starting to look like a scarier team composition. And we'll have a quick look over and see what the next dragon is. And it's going to be the... Cloud Dragon.
And that works! That works for him. He's got to go fast, man.
Cloud Dragon.
They got to go fast, man.
Carlos.
But you do look at their comp, and even with a Cloud Drake, I mean, they are a pick comp when you look at them. So even then, it's definitely more so favored for the side of Trulio in the game, but it has its uses. Try to put a positive spin onto that Cloud Drake. That way he doesn't feel too emotional and depressed on everybody else's opinions on how useful he is.
So, hey Travesty, how do you feel about the starting item was on Jhin this game? He did actually go for the Doran's Ring, as we do see more and more often on Jhin's nowadays. This is because of the extra AP scaling he has on his Q and E. It just allows you to wave clear that much more effectively and get back that much more mana when you kill minions. Of course, another bonus of it is the fact that you get to take 2 potions at level 1. Keep yourself that much more healthy for that much longer. It's just all around much better than going for Doran's Ring on Jhin. Much better than going for a longsword, and it's interesting how much has this become the thing worldwide.
Yeah, I actually just love seeing it because it's just like, I love me some Jhin, so I might as well put a ring on it. So
oh wow, come on man. You quoted Beyonce at me.
Hey man, it's what I do, man. You got some Beyonce. Later on, I'll give you guys a personal Whitney Houston performance on my flute or something like that. But
I mean, you were wanting me to sing Hikaru Utada earlier, but
yeah, it. Hey man, it's exactly what I like, man. I'm all about that song and dance. As we will have to see dancing shoes coming out here as both sides of the team both have some abilities that could be pretty problematic if they land. I've seen that blue buff.
Nice little blue buff onto Drulls. He really needs that, of course. Not having bought the tier, instead opting straight away for this catalyst means he's not going to have anywhere near as much mana as he would like. So desperately needs that blue buff just to keep up with the wave clear of the Victor. Oh, big chunk of damage onto him. Has to cleanse it. Wow.
Yeah, laid out the damage. Unfortunately, not enough else to come out of it as he is able to lay out what's needed here. And look at this. He's forcing the flash now. Chaos Storm is going to come out as a way to say, back off, Drulls. Not today.
And we're seeing up in the top lane, Spod taking a big chunk of damage as he's popping this Mastery 7, but gets the 5 stacks!
Dominus is going to be forced out. 5 stats, he's ticking away. He's bleeding out, digging deeper, and he's down. And that is going to be, Shive going to be going down for Spod there as the Ignite and Bleed are just too much for him.
Ishvel falling to the bleed. And I liked the timing of the Dominus to deny the 5 stack ultimate kill. Popping it to get that bonus health just as he would have died to the true damage, baiting Spot into it, but of course it was already too late. Those 5 stacks.
Oh, we have a fish that's coming in here. Concussive Bloods are getting put onto Europe, but we do see the Twisted Advances going into the backside here. But as Madine is here, he is laying out the deeps that are needed. Rupa is going to be the first target to go down there. We do see an Alpha Strike is going to come down as well. Patsy, you are the next contestant, and now it is going to be Asmodine going to have to take an exit stage right and be taken out there for a 2-for-1 trade.
2 kills onto Asmodine now though, sitting with a comfortable CS lead, now a comfortable gold lead as well over Ewan, and wanting to get towards that later game scaling that we talked about. Now really we feel that if they can find advantages using Bio, Chipmunk and Basilisk to find these Ash Arrows, find the picks with them, and get an advantage heading into the late game, this is where Drulio and the gang's composition will shine. But it's still so situational, and it's unfortunate that they have kind of drafted themselves into the hole.
Situationally, Tarako's found himself in a bad situation, but is quickly turned around by Yuan being here. The Death Laser is going to come out onto Drulls, and Drulls is having
a nice
to
ward
try
being cleared
and get away from the tree here. That he's not going to be able to stun him. The silence is going to come. He is now an egg, and we're going to have to see if he finds himself a little bit scrambled. The arrow is going to miss, and Tarako is able to kite back and lay out the damage. Drulls is pretty low in HP. He's going to get off the stun. He is laying out the damage. A return kill is coming up from Yuan, and there you see Drulls able to kite back throughout that. They trade 1-for-1, jungler for jungler, but here's the curtain call, pew-pewing away. The dancing shoes I talked about before are here to stay as Drulls is sitting there. He's letting Spot take the damage from him. What a good friend, as that is not going to be able to roll out into any kills on to Drulls.
And Spot concedes a little bit of pressure top lane, but does manage to give his mid laner his life and save him for now, getting the 1-0, but really nice play by the Anivia. Now Spot arrives back in the top lane, happily going to clear this wave and keep himself in actually a gold deficit still, even though he is up in farm. That second kill from Renekton puts him in a comfortable position. And now the fighting continues.
Oh. Yeah, but the 4 bleed stacks are there. 5 bleed stacks. Spot able to lay out the damage, forcing him to back up. A trail of blood shows him the way, but not going to be able to pick up any more kills on that one because Div knows that he is in a bad situation into this Darius when he gets those 5 stacks. He knows that dunk is waiting for him, and Spot is a happy camper when he is able to be up in the air, ready to drop onto some fools. Tarako is actually a target here as well, but Jules, you're not wanting to be here as you're gonna actually find yourself a victim to a twisted advance. Goodbye, Jules. You're taking the express route back to the fountain as the action just does not stop here.
There's gonna be another kill for the Maokai, setting it up. Really nice combo there. We see pops the ultimate, and of course Anivia is such a slow champion, not able to even get away from the twisted advance. That follows up with the roots, and that's gonna be a kill going over. More gold onto the mid laner, and this is really just keeping the gold even for UOS right now, and this is what they need to do, just not let anybody snowball ahead, because they know their team composition as a whole scales better. Of course, with the tank Maokai, the Renekton able to dive the backline, but the individual members, if they get to the point where they can carry, that's where the problem arises.
Yeah, it could be very problematic as things start to scale. It could be a very scary situation, but we do have a Maokai and a Bush. This could be the surprise that you do not want to see. Patsy shows himself completely fine there, as does not show Vaughn there. Be a very spooky situation for the side of Julio. Rift Herald's actually going down to about a Yi off to the side here. There is Tarako. Tarako's looking for something. They're actually going to lay out the Chaos Storm. Actually, they're just going to go full offensive as Osmodine is not able to do anything else. The slow is coming out. He's going to be able to get some damage on the Tarako, but they're not going to be able to get anything past that. First turret is going to go down. Curtain Call is next. Basilisk, you are in a bad situation as he is shut down very low. Yuan is frontlining. He's taking up some of the damage here, but the double flash there as both Shiv and Spot are able to do that in such a synergized way there.
It's starting to look like ever so slowly that the dank memes can't crush the playoff dreams of UOS Fire this season, as they're wanting to make it to their first final. They're wanting to show that they can beat the other top teams, and taking down Julio and the gang in this one definitely be a big stop.
Yeah, that's gonna be a dragon. That is gonna be the Cloud Dragon. Next dragon will be in Infernal, so it will be a very highly contested dragon there, as we will have to see how both of these teams decide to continue pressing on to this. As the meme squad, as you kind of related it to Julio and the gang here, they are definitely in a position right now where they are a little bit behind in terms of how Osmodine is doing. But he does have that jungle enchantment that we very rarely see at this point in time.
Yeah, the Blood Razor, and I love that every so often it will look at Master Yi and it will show a question mark next to him as if he's not visible on the map, and it's because every time he alpha strikes, he technically doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, you want to talk about people that don't exist? Tarako is looking to make that list. Jules is going to be able to get that kill, and Spoot is actually the target
Spot
of a
staying alive. Ooh!
Gank up there. Jules is able to stay alive, and Ewan goes down. He caught him an icicle. He is taken out. As Masmodine is able to pick out Europe. Europe is now. You look over at Shive.
He's trying to hunt down the Renekton.
He's going to have to chuck in Jive. Osmodine is a hunting man. He is looking to pick himself up a kill. He is a fast man.
He likes the crocodile leather.
Go into Patsy as well. Patsy is going to be just actually munching onto Jules. He likes him some bird. Shive is actually taking some tower shots now. The exhaust is going to come out on the Patsy. Patsy, is he going to be able to do anything? No, there's eggs there. You're not going to be able to munch onto those. It is not scrambled. It is not cooked to prepare, and you do not eat raw eggs.
So no crocodile leather, no scrambled eggs, and no Kentucky Fried Anivia today.
None of those things. As we see, Osmodine, he said, you know what, I ran off that Renekton, now this Herald is mine. As he finally gets to have that Herald that he wanted so bad earlier on.
Of course, probably going for the Blade of the Rune King, or even potentially the Gwynsu's with that recurve bow next. Starting to snowball a little bit ahead, but 3-0. It shows you that he, regardless of what is happening, he's still dying a fair amount. And he's going to be summoning this Rift Herald instantly in top lane. A TP is coming out, but I'm not sure Renekton can save this on his own.
Yeah, he might have a hard time. He is actually going to pop the Dominus. We are going to see Patsy coming up from the backside here as he is trying to get into this fight. But Shiv, he is actually taking down the volley. The bleed is going to be all she wrote. And the rest of the team is here. Patsy, you're going to be the next contestant. Come on down, Yuan. It's got 5 stacks of bleed onto him as well. He is bleeding out. All of his sap is going to be on the ground. And Spot is going to be able to pick himself out another kill. Picking up 2 kills with the bleed alone. Taraka, you might want to watch out. He is going to be the next person with eyes on him, but while Europe is going to be Nets, Jules picking himself yet another kill, and it's actually scaling up to be quite the monster now.
Now sitting 4-1-1, comfortably in an advantage, and he's looking to be in such an interesting position as we get further and further into this game. We're seeing more and more surprises from Julia and the gang, now going up by 4k. And really just members showing up on their champions. I mean, it's really hard to analyze Julio and the gang because when they show up by just being better at fighting, being better at being scrappy, being better at running in like idiots and hoping they can get the kills.
Yeah, and right now that strategy is working out for them. Who needs meta when you can just create your own? As they are definitely showing that this pick that we were all that we were all scratching our heads about is something viable whenever it's in their hands as well. But looking at how everything is going to have to pan out now, we have to say, what does AOS Fire do at this point in time?
And we got to look at what UOS Fire has in the composition. They have the Victor for wave clear. They have the Renekton, who of course wants to dive the backline, but that Renekton in trouble a little bit, and he's starting to struggle to deal with the Darius. Wasn't able to hold him down well enough, and it just means that he is not able to push up the side lane anymore. So unfortunately, what they need to do is try and play around this Maokai and hope they can get a pick onto somebody, and Bio Chipmunk might be a start.
Yeah, Bio Chipmunk may be the one that they want to get, but we are going to go ahead and see that Knight's Vow is going to come out onto Bio, so it's going to be actually pretty hard to get over to him. He doesn't have much of a front line, but that Braum is the only shield he needs, as be a very tricky situation for Fire right here.
And we're seeing Spod just push up the bot lane again and back off. There's still struggling to find any tower damage, but we know he is winning out these 1v1s versus Renekton. Not willing to go in towards the tower.
He really has trouble in this scenario right here, as the rest of the side of Julio and the gang are actually doing a fantastic job pushing up that mid lane. Nothing too crazy happening now. We do see a couple of rotations going around while Asmodee is just farming up the jungle. Nothing's happening, so he'd rather just go ahead and collect the farm that is due. That Blade of Ruin King built onto him as well, as you alluded to earlier, definitely allows him to shred through some of these tanks a lot more.
So what we see from some high elo Master Yi mains at this point is they would transition into full tank. Now this is Julio and the gang, however. So, full AD?
Yeah, full AD. It's full AD or go home. We just have to see it at this point in time.
Oh baby, another Infernal Drake. And Julio and the gang have the inside track onto this one. This will now allow even more of this late game scaling for the Yi and the Anivia as she walls off the members. Oh, the hook over the wall!
It actually grabs him there. Asho is also going to connect, but that could have been a very bad situation to Raku having to be forced to flash out now. Have to see that's double Infernal going over to them.
See, I couldn't help but think as he lands that apprehend over the wall, he's trying to catch the guy stealing. Stop right there, criminal scum.
Curtain call is actually coming out. We do see the dunks are going to come through. Spot is able to pick himself up a kill here. He's got
3. Oh! The picture perfect!
You're probably wondering how he got here. Well, he's going to get out of there. Double kill is going to go over to him as Osmodene's offense split pushing away, taking the free towers for him as they are able to kite that back.
And the Dunkerinos come through. Slam dunk 5, 2, and 2. from this Darius. He's sitting in a comfortable position, knowing that he can get these damage in the team fights, but Arup goes so low, has to pop the heal just to stay alive, and he was still so close to going down. That's going to give a lot of chip damage onto this tower. Only one minion left, though, means they're going to have to back off for now. However, bot lane, that's going to be the tower picked up by Asmodee. Really, they're just splitting the map, knowing there's too few members to defend.
Yeah, Asmodee able to split push to his heart's content, and I do kind of want to touch on the build that Jules did. Jules has gone himself into a Rod of Ages into Morello, so it looks like we are not going to see that tier of the goddess being picked up in this game. Is very big to actually notice that, because now he's probably just going to go. Where does Jules go from here, actually? Because he has a couple options from this point on.
Yeah, that was literally, he's answered your question. Leandri's Torment.
That pen. Gotta...
Yeah, of course, giving you the penetration, giving you the percent damage with these slows, allow you to chunk through Ishvel, Ewan so much more easily. And of course, the magic penetration helps you with squishies. It's all around such a great item, because of how it helps you deal with both sides of it, the tanks and the squishies.
It'll be absolutely fantastic for them, as Julia and the gang are in control here. They do have a 6k lead at this point in time, where the bot lane and Jules have been playing absolutely phenomenal, and even Spod has been able to make sure to keep people on notice with those dunks.
It's really been just, as we say, people playing well on their champions and not really caring about meta. Just kind of going, okay, I'm going to play Darius. Yeah, but you lose early to Renekton. I'm going to play Darius. I'm going to play Darius blind. That's how confident he was.
Yeah, he picked that blind, and you thought that should have been a train wreck. But he said, guys, I just need Ignite. I just won't teleport for anything. If you guys need me, I'm not there. Don't worry about that.
He also picked a Nivea blind as well. And it's just a large amount of confidence from them in their laners, and their final pick was of course the Master Yi. That was the most surprising part of it. But other than that, wow, this has been a very interesting game from Julio and the gang.
Yeah, now this 1-3-1 has came to life, and you have to look at the side of
enjoying the slideshow.
UOS bio. Have to watch out.
Having some minor connection issues to this, because unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have to give this one a minute.
Okay, that's fine. I got you. I had the technical issues last game. It's my turn now.
And I'm back.
All right, and there we go. And my moment of glory is gone, tainted forever.
One hit from this tower. It's gonna go down, and there's Bio Chipmunk picking it up with just a small gust of breeze to blow it over. And now they're gonna transition towards this top lane. It's very interesting how they're choosing to use this Master Yi as the split pusher instead of the Darius. Of course, Darius not having the TP available.
Yeah, Darius not having the split push ability of the teleport to make it to where he can join into a fight. They say Asmodee might not be able to do much in this fight. So you know what? You're going to sit in the side wave and see what you can do. He is pretty ahead himself, looking at the farm and whatnot he's been able to grasp. So we do have to see how UOS Fire decide that they're going to make their comeback into the game, because they are currently behind and 27 minutes in by a decent margin.
Oh baby, Travis. Is that the Gwinsu's Rage Blade coming out from Master Yi? Spicy.
That might just be as... That's going to be pretty... It's insane. Actually, Asmodee's actually chasing that Shive. He's going to
heal. BM heal.
He's meditating on whether or not he should take Shive's life. He decided not to.
Yeah, they flash for flash, then he just went, you know what, I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to let you live this time. So you can go and tell your friends not to mess with Master Yi.
Yeah, you let him live to tell the tale. That's exactly...
you go on to them and you tell them you lost this day.
But looking at the siege that just came about, we just saw a very uneventful siege. Nothing really happening, just a little pressure being put out here. Some Baron control being grasped. Julio and the gang. They're currently in a situation where they really want to get a pick, but US is playing very safe to not let that happen.
I mean, every member has been putting up a decent performance here. We've seen Bio Chipmunk, in spite of the potential dive you can get with Ewan and Ishvel, still surviving, still remaining that perfect KDA. And this is going to mean that, that he is very comfortable sitting in the back of these teamfights, pumping out these arrows. Now the big teamfight looks to be the next thing over this third and final Infernal Drake. Giving all three of these to Drulio would be absolute suicide.
Yeah, they don't want that to go over, but it is. They are going to be able to pick up that dragon, and we are going to see the curtain call is going to go up. Chipmunk is going to be taking a lot of shots. Basilic's actually a focus of the Chaos Storm, and they're going to back away from this. That is going to be an Infernal Dragon going over for absolutely no cost at all, besides possibly this mid tower.
And yeah, getting the inside track on it, that's going to be the best trade they can get. But now Spod coming in to find the arrow.
Arrow is actually going to come in. The arrow is going to hit. It's going to connect to
Denied.
Shot, but a lot of damage is going to get put onto him. Absolutely denied by the wall.
By his own team.
Is denied, and nothing else is going to be able to come of that. And that's actually kind of like the bad thing that can actually happen when you do have that Anivia. Sometimes when you try and put down that wall to mess up the pathing, you're put just a little bit too close to you. Or you might have Drools who just wants to troll you for the loss.
Or was it intentional? Of course, because of the delay issues that we have had, there are some particle effects. Particle effects that appear a bit odd. I mean, like if you look at Darius, he still has two parts of the Jin reticle on top of him in different places, to the right and the left of him. And it's a rather interesting bug, but yeah, since Riot changed that API, there's been some significant spectator issues, so please forgive us with that.
Yeah,
and of course, we've lost our normal game statistics as well. Rage.
Rage at the machine, guys. Go ahead and let it all out as Basilisk finds himself a wild tree in the forest. He knew trees would be in the forest of the jungle. Things are going to be rotating around this barren pit here. Looks like actually Drulio and the gang are actually starting this up.
And yeah, with the positioning they have on it, they have to force the side of UOS Fire to engage on top of them, and they can back off and look for picks when that does happen. But instead, they're just going to play it safe for now, play it slow, try and deny as much vision as possible, allow the waves to push, and then force plays off of that pressure. So 4 members sitting inside the Baron Pit right now.
Yeah, they're wanting to do something. Oh, that is an Asher. He's going to hit you on. He's going to twist it, advance into the arms of Spod. Spod says,
Dead jungler.
Bring it over here, boy. He's going to drop the dunks onto him. Now, Osmodine is actually going to go ahead and jump into it. Woodshu style is coming out as strong as possibly can be, as he's going to Alpha Strike onto Shiv, but he is taking tower shot after tower shot, and he is going to be the Nets target here, as now Europe is going to actually jump onto Spod. Spod is actually going in deep. But that is going to be big there, as that is a Baron buff. But now we do see the curtain call is going to come out. Curtain call is going to hit one. It's going to hit Basilisk. He is so low, he has to flash over the wall. But Bio Chipmunk is able to pick up.
He's still got flash.
He does have flash. He flashed.
He's trying to outplay.
Over here to try and put him to the side of Drools. But now we do see Drools is laying out the damage that is needed on Europe. Europe is in a bad spot, but he is going to be able to get on out of there. Basilisk barely making it out with his life as well. That is a Baron buff for Drulio in the game.
Mad respects to Bio Chipmunk here. He could have flashed out over the wall. He chooses to stay. He goes for the highlight reel play. He ends up forcing Terrakio's flash, forcing the opposing team to back off. And Ash going 1v2 finds it. And he's going to be in a good position here, picking up the tower and backing away, but just shows the confidence from him that he is just exuding onto the Rift.
Yeah, it's absolutely just phenomenal that he understands his own personal limits. He had trust in Jules as well, because he flashes over to Jules for that highlight play, as you said, and even then he does have that little bit of safety net where he has Jules there to back him up, so if they did want to do anything, he had the backup that was needed, because he couldn't really rely on Basilisk to continue making plays, because he was at under 100 HP at the end, towards the end of that fight.
And so yeah, we had to see Basilisk flash out over the wall. He wouldn't have been able to provide anything at all But it's still BioChipmunk putting it all on the line, his perfect KDA, because that's what this tournament's all about.
You don't have a perfect KDA. What are you doing?
Yeah, why are you playing League? I mean, if you die once in a League game, what are you doing?
Yeah, as wise words of the Baker the Wise, get good is the
I thought the words that
can...
Faker said is Goku is my favorite Pokemon trainer.
It might be, but now Patsy is going to be taken out. A curtain
Oh,
call
big
is
engage.
going to be followed up by a deadly flourish. They're going to be able to put Jules onto the egg, but they are getting melted as they try to take out Jules. This is the triple kill that is going to be coming out for BioChipmunk. They are going to be looking for another kill here, but they are not going to be able to get it. It looks like the deadly flourish is going to come out. Spot is not done. He is being as aggressive as possibly can be. This could be the
This looks
play
like it.
that ends the game. They're going after Nets' turrets now. He's looking for the hooks. They're actually going to try on to grab onto Uroop, as Spoot is going to be able to lay out the damage. A dunk is coming out, and this is going to be the Nets' Drillio and the gang picking up the win after USO Fire. Call them a fire extinguisher because they just put out that fire.
The meme team becomes the dream team as they go in with a very odd draft that we saw right at the start. We weren't sure what to expect of it. We said that US Fire had gone for the superior meta draft, but going completely off meta. It seems to make Drillio even more powerful. And every time you doubt them, they get that little bit stronger. It's like a Super Saiyan. You knock them down, you defeat them once, they get 10 times stronger for the next time you face them. And this is going to be a very strong game coming out from Drillio and the gang, as once they got rolling, they looked unstoppable.
And that's exactly the word I would use, unstoppable. They continue to control the game there. And we talked a lot about the fact of Chipmunk here. BioChipmunk. This man was looking for highlight reels and whatnot. Look at the damage charts that come out from him. His damage is actually just insane. He does have another person right behind him. He has Jules right behind him on that Anivia, but the two of them have been put out so much work inside that, and it's like you were saying, every single member of that team felt like they were working for that victory.
So Ash in the late game, not that strong as I said, but turns out I was pretty wrong, and I'm gonna admit that. So I'm gonna have to hide this quickly so you can see the actual damage stats that Ash was able to put out. 26.6k damage. Wow. That's more than the Victor, more than the Anivia, more than the Darius. Showing up really big for his team. 7-0 and 8. We said he was playing like a man, going for those highlight reel plays. Definitely worked out for him in this game.
Yeah, absolutely did. As that is a great game for us to end off the night with here, as we are going to say that is our final game here for the night. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that follow button, tune in, because that's, if you like League of Legends content, Monday you'll be able to catch that on there. My name has been Travesty Powers, and you can follow me at Travesty with 2 Y's at the end, and I'll let my boy here, Senpai, actually intro himself out as well.
It's been a good cast on the day. I've been, in spite of all the technical issues, I think we had a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed your experience with your first UK scene cast.
I got to get a little bit of EU flame in my system. It's in my blood now. When I go back to NA in like an hour here, they're just gonna turn around and I'm gonna be as toxic as can be. No, I'm just. But yeah, no, I got that EU flame. Thank you guys for actually having me. I know
problem.
It was my first time here, so I do appreciate it.
We were gentle. It was your first time. But yeah, thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
And I've been Sin. Follow me on Twitter at SRCSin if you want to see some dank memes. And please come again next week, where we're going to be seeing more NUEL live NUEL summer tournament action. And thank you for coming.